On the webs with YouTube.
On the webs with YouTube.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Check that audio, boy.
Damn, yeah, damn. Slam door a little harder, my love.
she actually does it.
She's like, yeah, sure.
You just hear construction because she broke it.
Oh man.
It's just here.
We put hairspray on the. So fun fact, you can put hairspray on door hinges and they can minimize the squeak. So we tried that, but I think we need to put more hairspray on that one because it's like super quiet when we do it.
It's such a countryside thing to say.
I don't understand the science behind it, but you know what? I'm all for it. Let me check some audio stuff actually while I'm here. So.
Oh god, I have to create a character. Wait, don't I have mine created already?
You didn't do that?
You know what's crazy? It's the fact that when I looked at the saved game, it said 0, but there was a saved game.
Alright, we're good on audio.
I'm randomizing this. This is just for podcast purposes.
Also, real quick, Walt, did you just to preface this, did you put like the main like sound setting or the master sound settings on mute for
It's all down. Yep.
Okay, alright.
I learned from my last time.
Yeah, I know, right? You learn once and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Let me set this tweet up then where we get to go. Man, I didn't even need to be on Twitter for like 2 minutes to see like what was going on to this week.
This week has been a bit wild, to be honest.
I went on for to tweet like the streams I was doing and to get that graphic up and then to do the couple other DSS stuff, and I just saw like glimpses of it and I was like, oh hell no, I'm out of here.
It's been.
I don't blame you.
It's interesting because I don't see the discourse. I just see people complaining about it. Because I'm okay. Then their timeline is like messed up, you know.
Yeah, I'm good on all that, man.
Yeah.
This was one hell of a week for PlayStation, wasn't it?
It still is.
Man.
Okay, let's get started.
Sir.
Guys, welcome to the 73rd episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I am your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined, as always, by we have the full roster this time, finally.
Everyone is here.
Yeah, Walt is finally back from checking on his mistresses down in the islands. He's had to make sure they're all in order and whatnot.
Make sure his plantains were well and fruitful.
I was in Castle Dimitrescu. I was looking at all the vampire.
Oh, it's in Puerto Rico? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially, I think you're talking about Old San Juan.
Old San Juan. I was in La Perla, you know.
Yeah, the fort. Yeah.
But yeah, man, we got the full team here. Walt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantabulous. I was at a concert yesterday, the last concert for the big boss himself, Daddy Yankee, and that was a blast and a half. So today I am very thirsty, so I'm drinking a lot of water and ready to talk some games and buffoonery. Am I right, guys?
Yes, sir.
I guess so. Yeah.
Hey man. This week I also adopted some FOMO, so from something that I saw on the webs. Well, I'll go into that later.
We also got Macho here. What's up, man?
How's it going, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy Fanatic. Glad to be back. Took a nice little week break. Unexpected week break, but nonetheless, I think it was needed. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be back. T-minus 1 week until the wedding. So this time next week, fellas, I will be a husbando. And it's pretty crazy. So yeah, with that said too, probably no podcast next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, man. So we got a lot to get through this week. A bunch of stuff. Actually, a bunch of stuff happened in the past 2 weeks that we have to go through. So, yeah, got a pretty good show lined up for you guys. As always, want to remind everyone to go ahead and like and share out the podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. We really like the views that we've been seeing in the last 2 episodes, man. We greatly appreciate that. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we are going to start things off by talking about the games and just the things that we've been doing these past 2 weeks. So, Walt, why don't you kick things off? What have you been playing?
This week, I have been playing mostly. So here's the thing, right? Because last week I was in Puerto Rico, I didn't play anything there. So anything I was gonna play there, I had to move to this week. What I did play is more of Live Alive. I'm already on my last character to then do the final chapter. I'm on
Nice.
I'm on Cube's chapter. The distant future. So far from that game, I've loved absolutely every single section of it. But my favorite, which also felt like the most developed one, has been the Edo era one, where you're a shinobi. That section, I just wanted that section to never end. I wanted to have more secret encounters, more secret bosses. I wanted to do more there. But it didn't. It only had one secret boss, which was tough. I did the old grind, go into a little section, grind the ghost, go outside, go inside, grind the ghost. And I did that for like 30 minutes. That was not agonizing. I just put a podcast on the side and I kept grinding away. It made the fight that much easier. I got the strongest weapon for that character before the final fight, so it wasn't too bad. What else
Nice.
have I
You did
played?
more than me on that one.
Because I know that you had done the no kill, the pacifist route, but I did the pacifist, and up to the point where I needed to not take the prisoner with me, because apparently you needed to keep him in his cell so that he then shows up and scares off the guards with his gun.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. I didn't know that. So I had him with me. So I was like, okay, I have 2 people. I can fight the secret boss now because I have 2 people with me. So I fought the secret boss. That was tough. It was a battle of attrition more than it was of skill. I beat him. I beat the big koi fish.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't do that either.
That one was also tough. Aside from that, I've been playing more Horizon, more Control. And today I'm looking forward to getting my hands on Soul Hackers 2, more Atlas goodness, and see where that takes me in the next week. But aside from the game, so my FOMO set in when I was on Instagram, right? And I see that our friend here, Jay, for the first time ever, he watched certain movies, right? Which I don't know if you'll get into it, whatever. But one of those movies I wanted to see. I was like, oh man, it's been a while since I've seen it. And I watched the first of the movies, which is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the reboots.
Great movies.
And I was like, wow, I forgot how great this movie was. Like I had great memories. Like, in absolutely every scene that was happening, I was like, whoa, I remember this. Because I remember how good of a movie it was, and it is. And the thing is, I watched it back when it came out, but I never watched the sequel or the trequel. So I've decided
Man,
that
that's wild. I've never heard anyone refer to the third movie in a trilogy as a trequel.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, is that a word?
I don't know. I made it up. That's what language is. But like the 2 other movies, I've only seen the trailers for them. I know that they're good as well. And in my heart, now with my adult brain, because I saw this when I was a teen, I look at the Rise of the Planet of the Apes movie, and it's a movie that doesn't waste your time. It truly is a movie that just gets right to it. Every single scene has purpose. Every single thing that happens has meaning to it. Like it's incredible, the development of that chimpanzee, my guy. Caesar is the GOAT. Caesar is like the greatest monkey. to ever live, or the greatest ape rather.
Say that.
The greatest ape.
Excuse me, it's Harambe. Harambe's the greatest.
Right. Remember, for out for Harambe. What is it? Something out for Harambe?
Something.
No.
The so this week I'm ready to get my hands on those other two movies, and I guess I'll watch them on Amazon. But I'll rent them or something because I don't think any streaming service has them.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So I'm a rent those bad boys and experience more ape goodness. Aside from that, man, I went to the concert. That was a blast, and quite frankly, not much else. I've been waiting for Better Call Saul to hit Netflix, but I don't think that's happening until next year. So I might have to do a free trial for Paramount because I'm not gonna pay for Paramount or AMC. Is it AMC Plus? And watch the final season. I hear it's like...
Wait, it's not on Netflix?
No, they release it first on AMC, and then months later, or maybe a year later, they release it on Netflix.
Did you know that Sony is also like behind that show as well?
So, oh really?
Yeah, Sony Pictures. Which is so. Here, let me just say this really quickly. I think Sony Pictures, like their television division, is far better than their movie division. Like just thinking about like Cobra Kai, you have Better Call Saul, you have The Boys.
Oh
right?
wow!
You have the Wheel of Time. Like just those four shows alone. And I think they also did The Crown on Netflix. I want to say,
which is big.
Yeah, which I know is also really good. So like like I'm for PlayStation Productions and their TV endeavors. I think Horizon's a TV show, right? And then also God of War is a TV show. I'm really confident in those, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, the quality, and not only in terms of, being great shows and all, but the themes in all these shows, they're all very much, drama, like thriller, very just suspense forward shows. And I think that Horizon and God of War have those themes very much prevalent in them. I'm excited, man. But yeah, Better Call, dude, it sucks because I mean, I know myself, and I'll spoil myself if I want to because I cannot. I get anxiety if I don't know certain things about a show that I'm not able to watch. So I already know the ending. I already know certain key points of the show, but I know that once I watch it, I'm gonna be just dragging myself. I'm gonna be shitting and vomiting like everywhere because. I hear that Better Call Saul officially is the comparisons I've seen on Twitter is like surpassing shows like Sopranos, and it's like whoa, bringing it back to the OGs. It's like insane. So
yeah, I'm hearing. I heard in a podcast that people were saying that they can see why people will like Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad, even though both are amazing.
Yeah, no, and I do agree. The writing is leagues beyond, far above than Breaking Bad. It doesn't make the Breaking Bad bad. I just think that the writers themselves, they were like, oh, we're better now because after they did Breaking Bad, they just improved as writers because it is the same creators. So
yeah, knowing that it sticks to landing, I'm definitely gonna watch it because I didn't want to watch it and get invested in it doesn't stick to landing because we've seen that already. Yeah,
for sure.
So
but this one,
I'm glad this one does.
Yeah, and the good thing is that the last two episodes, the penultimate one is directed by one of the co-creators, and the last one is directed by the other co-creator. So they're like finishing off with themselves as they started. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, man, that has been me this week. How about y'all?
So do you want to go?
Okay, yeah. I can go. So yeah, these past 2 weeks have been crazy. I've watched 7 movies.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah, just things that
what a screen junkie.
Yeah, a rare moment for me to actually do that. Just movies that I feel like I've just missed out on and wanted to catch up on. I'm not gonna talk about them this podcast. I think I'll save them for the next time that we get on here. Just because I have some other things to talk about. But just really quick, yeah, I watched the Planet of the Apes trilogy. start to finish, absolutely incredible. The one thing I'll say is that I feel like with movie trilogies, there's always one that sticks out like a sore thumb, right? Like for the Dark Knight trilogy, everyone will say it's Rise. For the Spider-Man trilogy, everyone will say it's Spider-Man 3. For the Matrix movies, it's always, the two sequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with the Planet of the Apes ones, there's not, in my opinion, there's not a bad movie in that trilogy.
Oh wow!
It's fucking fantastic, start to finish.
I have to agree.
Yeah, and like Caesar, what a fucking character, man.
That's insane that the character that when you say, man, Caesar, what a character, in your mind, like you imagine people, oh, who is it? It's an ape. And it's like, it's insane. It's crazy how they made it work. And the CG holds up, I think, for these movies.
Oh yeah. But it's not like they came out 20, 30 years ago. I mean, the last one came out in 2017. So.
You can watch stuff from 5 years ago and it'll look like it came out in 10 years ago,
Sure. But yeah, just his evolution as a character is incredible, man. So yeah, love that trilogy. The other trilogy I watched was Alien. Aliens, and the Alien 3.
Oh, you motherfucker. I was going to do that this week too, man. I just couldn't find a where to actually get the movies.
Amazon Prime, baby. So, yeah. So watch that, and fucking Ripley, man. What a character as well.
Man, I was thinking about it all week of watching all three of those movies because I've been watching a YouTube series where it breaks down all monster movies. So I watched one for Halloween, Friday 13th, and I watched Alien. I'm like, oh my god, they're so intricate with the aliens. I need to watch the movies now.
Yeah, I'm actually watching a almost 3-hour documentary on it right now. Yeah, man, it's funny because I mean you guys know me, my movie history is really bad. I don't watch a ton of movies. In terms of the classics, you could name 10 classics and I've probably seen 2 or 3 of them. I still haven't even seen Terminator or The Matrix, for instance, right?
Me neither, boy.
So yeah, watching Alien 1 was so interesting because it came out in 1979, and maybe Star Wars is the only other 70s movie that I can say I watched. And with Alien, I don't know, man, it was just obviously knowing that that's a movie that came out during that time period, there's just something about that movie, or just I guess movies being made in that time period that just feels I don't know, it's just so charming, right? Because you could tell that it's it's old as hell, but I don't know, it just felt comfortable being in, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I don't know, I just felt it was really charming because obviously they had the constraints of the time period and the things that they were able to work with, and I don't know, they still, and most of it is practical, right? There's at least to my knowledge, there's not it's not being riddled with CGI and shit like that, right? So I don't know, man, it just felt I don't know, more earnest, if that's even something I can say.
Yeah, it feels more creative,
crafted.
Yeah, more creative. If that's the case, you feel like that with this one, I really suggest watching the first Halloween movie in the late 1970s. That one, I thought I was gonna just be oh, it's so cheesy and corny, but no, it holds up and it's so good, man. That's one you have to watch if you like Alien, because it falls into that limelight of horror movies back then that had to be really creative because they couldn't show all the deaths on the scene because they just didn't have the manpower or the actual tools to do all that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and then I actually haven't finished Alien 3 yet. I'm still making my way through that.
How long is it?
It's not that long. It's pretty much I think maybe a little bit longer than Aliens, but it's not super long. It's just because I was falling asleep because it was late.
Okay.
Okay, it was late. It wasn't boring.
Well, that movie is rough.
Rough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear too, actually.
Right from the jump, man. It's fucking weird. So yeah, Alien 3 is Alien 3, unfortunately. But Alien and Aliens are fucking fantastic. So yeah,
Nice.
Macho, we can definitely talk about that more once you rewatch the trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it for the first time, so I'll watch it this
Oh,
week,
cool,
and we could talk about it next week.
cool.
That's a trilogy that I've
Um,
never seen either.
and
Good,
then
man.
After that, I also found time to go out and watch Bullet Train in
Yes,
theaters.
sir.
Yeah,
Nice.
fun movie, man. Really, really fun
So
movie.
fun.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Okay, so the main thing that I did these past 2 weeks, boys, I finished 3 games.
What?
Rounded off 3 games, like back to back
Damn,
to back.
my man was
Yeah,
efficient this week or the past 2 weeks.
yes, yeah. So knocked out Stray. Um, Pretty honestly, not too much to say. It was fun being a cat. That's my review. That's all I really got to say. I really like the cyberpunk aesthetic. Obviously, the soundtrack is a banger. Some of the little towns that you get to inhabit are really dense and just really cool to walk around in. So yeah, had a good time. Obviously, I don't regret buying it or whatever. Yeah, just a fun time being a cat. That's why
Official review.
Well, like, how are like like that? Do you like the level design? Was that as hot up as everyone was saying it
I
was?
mean, yeah, that's what I was saying is that the first major city, I think it's called the slums, maybe. That one, and then the other major city that you go to are they're not the biggest, places or anything like that, but you could definitely kind of get lost in them. I found myself just really like being lost several times, just trying to find where I'm supposed to go. There's no like a map telling you, hey, here, go here, or you have to. People are really hard to find in that game, specific characters. Especially because the first level especially is really vertical as well, so like there's the ground level that you have to work with as well as sort of the upper levels as well. So um again, not the biggest levels or cities, but they utilize the space very, very well by making them vertical, and there's a lot of interiors as well. There's a ton of NPCs. So yeah,
Cool.
I thought that stuff was pretty nice. Um, the other game is Macho. I finished Horizon Forbidden West.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. That final boss fight on hard is a bitch, dude.
It's wild, right?
I fucking hated it. I died maybe like 8 times, I want to say. Because Aloy's goddamn movement, man. I hate her movement, man. I don't
that
get.
hard difficulty is something else, brother.
It is her. I don't know. I feel like I didn't have like this much trouble with her moves, like her moveset in the last game, but just for whatever reason, I just felt like she wasn't doing like what I wanted her to do. There would be times where I'm like trying to run away, and she's in a crouch position instead. When you get hit, she just wants to take a nap on the floor, and I'm like pressing the circle button, like, come on, like, get the fuck up, you know? Kind of like in Elden Ring, I had that problem as well, but yeah, Aloy just taking a little bit of a nap before she wants to get up, and then she's, oh, okay, I need to go.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing people hate about that game. I remember.
Yeah,
I hated
so
about that game too. I was like, what the hell, dude?
yeah, so a lot of that, yeah, I don't know, man. I still think I like the story. The story in Zero Dawn is a lot cleaner for me than it is here. Um,
Mm.
I love pretty much like every other facet in Forbidden West is a step up in my opinion. I just prefer the story in Zero Dawn more than Forbidden West. We could obviously get into that whenever we decide to do a spoiler cast.
Mhm.
Walt, um,
Yeah.
but
You gotta
yeah,
stop buying them damn games and finish them.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
But I'm
Nah.
excited. I'm cautiously optimistic for the future to see what they do with the future.
Yeah,
let's
I
just say
knew you were
that.
gonna go that route. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I can see how people are gonna be hesitant. Other people are gonna be really excited.
Yeah.
You can
So
say about every game.
No, especially with this one though. Like you'll see when you get there.
Oh, you just have to be there, man. It's just man.
Yeah, no shit. Well, you gotta be there to see it. Yes. Fundamental human experience, good sir.
Yeah, I have to finish it.
So yeah, man. I really enjoyed my time with it. I liked, Katalo was obviously a standout. Really loved him. Like here's how you know like characters work for me in these kinds of games is if I go out and make the effort to go out and do their like companion quests and whatnot. So like obviously I did Katalos, I did Alvas, I did Zos. All the others, y'all can get y'all can get the fuck out of here. I didn't do errands, I didn't do Varls, I didn't do I think that was it, but yeah. I did some of them, I didn't do the others. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed it. The other game, though, guys, my fucking game of the year, Roller Drum, man.
Wow.
What a goddamn game. Macho, you played it, right?
Yeah, I played for 35 minutes because that's how long the trial was.
Buy that game, man. Support that game. This game is fucking awesome, man. I think what was really telling for me about this experience was like when I play this doesn't necessarily have to be in like multiplayer games, but just games that give you like leaderboards. I don't ever look at them, like ever. But I found what I was doing with this game was they do give you leaderboards to see like how your score stacks up against your friends or just in the world in general. And after every level, I'm always checking to see, okay, how did I do? How did I place? Did I beat Mr. Babbitt's score? Yes, of course. How did I do in the world ranking as well? Oh, I got top 50 in the world. Damn, sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like one of the biggest like moments where I was like, oh, I'm really into this game if I'm doing that.
Yeah, their other game, Ollie Ollie World, did that to me, where I was constantly looking at the leaderboard just to see like, oh wait, no, I can do better. I totally messed up here. I can totally make this flip or something.
Exactly, right? It's that classic thing of like you finish a level and immediately another way that you can tell that you really love a game is you finish the level and you're like, oh, I can do better. Let me get that one more time, and you retry and you go through the level again and again and again and again until you get the the highest score that you possibly can.
You know what that sounds like too? Quick interruption. You know what that sounds like?
What?
Sifu.
Nice. But yeah, man. So I mean, this game, in case anybody doesn't know, is essentially. I mean, the biggest comparison everyone says is Tony Hawk with guns, and it is just the mechanics are so fucking smart, man. Where, you're rollerblading, you're doing all these tricks, or you're being placed into these arenas, and they give you maybe like about 20 enemies is where it starts. The goal of every level is kill all 20 enemies within a certain time frame, and you get to go on to the next level. But the true that sounds pretty straightforward, but the true complexity of it comes in with you have your 4 weapons, but they all are very limited in terms of like the ammo that you carry. Right, so like dual pistols only has 12 bullets. The shotgun has like 4 bullets. The grenade launcher has 2, grenades in it. Very very low, which means you can't just be riding around like killing everything in one go. You have to do tricks in order to reload your weapons. But the other cool thing is that like unlike Tony Hawk, where you actually have to focus on like your positioning or else you'll fall off your board. In this game, you don't have to worry about falling off like at all. And to some people you might look at that and be like, oh well, that kind of removes the the skill of the game. And it's like, no dude, if you had to worry about falling in this game, that would ruin the momentum. Like the momentum is everything and flow is everything in this game. To me this game resembles like Ghost Runner, in a sense of like, or even like Walt, like a good Souls kind of dual boss fight, where you're just trading blows. Like you're not even like kind of like everything is just happening instinctively. You're not even like thinking about button inputs. It's just like a dance, right? You're just like in this flow. That's how this game was to me, where like I'm not even like looking at my controller. I'm not even thinking about, oh, okay, I need to, as soon as he does this, I need to do this. Like no, like everything is just like I'm just like one with the game, just like running with it in parallel. And
I think the game that did that was last did that for me was Solar Ash, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for me, the last one was Ghost Runner, absolutely. And that game gets absolutely insane because if you get hit, you die. So you have to really be like yeah. That game is like it resembles this one a lot to me, in that sense. But yeah, man, this game is just fucking awesome. Like just the pure joy that I had just like knocking off levels and trying to get better at them. And the enemy variety is really, really cool because once you kind of progress through the game, they're going to introduce more and more enemies that need to be taken down in certain ways, and that's where the different weapons kind of feed into it. Sure, you can use your dual pistols for majority of these things, but like once you see a riot shield enemy, for instance, it'll be a lot easier to slug him with your shotgun first and then pull out your dual weapons to finish him off. If you see one of the shield guys with their rail guns, you need to hurry up and use your dual pistols. But the thing is that that's going to use an entire clip just to kill those guys before they bring out their shields. If they do bring out their shields, then it's really, really annoying because then your combo could possibly die, right? Because this game is all about getting as high a combo as you possibly can in order to get the highest possible overall score. So that's again where the flow state comes in. You constantly want to be killing enemies. You don't ever want to let that combo run out. If you see the mech sort of enemies, you got to switch to your grenade launcher to knock them out, right? So it's this constant sort of like push and pull of like quick second decisions of like, okay, which gun do I want to use in this moment right now? And those things should just be happening like on the fly. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a fantastic game. I really, really loved it. And it's crazy because the PS5 says I only spent like 7 hours in it, but like man, like this was the only game I was playing for like it felt like a week, man. So yeah, I really loved it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. It was a really good game. Macho, did you enjoy it?
Hold on, sorry. My fiance came in the room, just jumped around. Exciting news.
Are you gonna be a dad?
No.
Oh.
No. Way too soon for that, buddy.
Okay.
No, but yeah, for the 35 minutes I played Rollerdrome, I couldn't agree more with you. Again, I wish I didn't have. I wish I had a little bit of a longer trial to get like a more of like a good like taste of it. Because
what
in
a
that 35. Yeah, man. Well, I limited time and limited funds right now. I got a wedding coming up, so so the amount of time that I actually did put into it, though, I had to say that yeah, I was expecting Tony Hawk with guns, but it feels like a lot more than that, and it really speaks to what you're saying, like the flow of like just going from throughout the stage and kind of not really strategizing around. I guess like what you're gonna be doing, but it's more of like going with the flow in the moment. I think that's really that's like a really like magic about like this game that I caught on like as soon as I start like the second level, I was like, oh, this is how you should play the game. Because me trying to land the tricks, that was the first thing I was worried about. Like when I was in the tutorial, I was like, oh, I gotta land these tricks, I gotta land frontward, or else I'm gonna fall. But that's the thing, like you don't need to do that, and I think that's really cool and really smart, because then once you realize that it's not that kind of game, then you get to really lend yourself to what it's really about. And that's why I reference Sifu, because it's the exact same thing where you're expected to land like the perfect parries and all that stuff, but it's not really about that. It's also just about reacting and
the
pushing
flow of
forward.
combat.
Exactly.
But you could also get super intricate with the tricks too if you want. If that's more your thing. If you're super skilled, you can do the super intricate, complicated tricks, going from one trick directly into another. while you're killing enemies all at the same time too. So like it has that as well if you want to get super, if you want to make it more challenging, which is cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. My future self is having a blast with it. I haven't played the game.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a lot of fun. I think the art style alone is like just amazing.
Oh my god. Yeah, like I absolutely adore that art style, man. It's timeless, dude. It's fucking timeless. Just that sort of like cell shading, no textures kind of thing. It's really I'm just always a fan of just like big bold colors, you know? So like every time you die it just throws up this big ass like red screen that says like eliminated, or every time you win it's this big ass yellow screen that says victory. Even when you start the game, right? That first arena that you go into, and it's like this dark black and red tunnel that you're like zooming through before you actually jump into the level, and then it just like plasters across the screen in just big letters, roller drone, right? Like I love that kind of shit, dude. So yeah, the art style is awesome. Yeah, it's one of those games that it's gonna hold up, man. It's gonna hold up.
Yeah.
And it's less than
like
a
Breath of the
gig
Wild.
as well on PS5. So like honestly, like, this is a game that like I just deleted Horizon off my hard drive yesterday. This is a game that's gonna be on my hard drive like honestly I could see until like the end of the generation, because it's less than a gig. And also, it's just one of those games I can easily just, even though I finished it, like I could easily just jump in there, play a quick, I mean, each match is like 3 minutes, so just jump in there, play through a couple levels just for fun, and hop out, right? It's definitely one of those games.
It's the Destruction All Stars killer. Yeah.
You say that, and which is funny. I almost downloaded it again last night.
Yeah, man, you really are like, it's like a drug. It's like, should I?
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, man, that's Rollerdrome. What a game, man. Like for me, like just in general. I mean, obviously it's my game of the year, but like one of the best games of the year, like bar none. If you guys have not played it, like to the people who are watching, pick up Rollerdrome, man. You will not regret it. Macho.
Yes,
what
sir.
have you been playing this week?
Yeah, I've been actually playing a handful of games. Well, kind of lie. Only like 3 games actually.
That is a handful.
You think so? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I used to be wild back in the day. I bought like 3 or 4 games at once when I was in high school.
Damn.
Yeah, man. That was what was it? Rayman Legends, Origins, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and a couple others. Yeah, that was a wild year. Okay, sorry, I'm reminiscing. I'm being an old man right now. There's a lot of thoughts going in my head.
Oh.
But first of all, yeah, so I've been playing for the past week. It's been Xenoblade Chronicles 3, man. I mean, we talked about it a lot in the last podcast, Soul, where I touched on just about a little bit of everything that I wanted to in that game. But obviously, I put more time into it. I got like near 50 hours into the game right now. And this is a game that's just on the level of Tales of Arise and Final Fantasy VII Remake for me, where it's like on... And even Live Alive and Triangle Strategy, that's just like, these are like, again, the JRPG renaissance that I was talking about, Soul. Like, this is, again, this is one of the, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I think as far as like a Xenoblade game and the whole trilogy itself, this is one that's like really close to contending with 1 for me as being like my favorite in the entire trilogy. And that's saying a lot for me because when I first played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I kept on saying like, this is one of my favorite games of all time because I just loved it so much. Like, it was just one of those things that was like a Final Fantasy VII for me. Where like the first time I played, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm getting that same vibe here with 3. I'm loving the characters more than 1, which is, again, another surprise for me. The world is just so much fun to explore, man. There's so much interactivity with it that you're never bored. One of the things that made Xenoblade Chronicles 1 so fun was like the fact that when you're exploring, you're essentially traversing on a dead titan. So there's always some weird scenery to look at. When you look up to the sky, you see like one of the giant sword like impaling on the other one, and all of it is different too because one's like an actual like green, vibrant life giant, and the others are full of mechanic ones. So you can see the differences when you're visiting each one. But for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, at least, it's very much the kind of the it's sort of like the normal JRPG, open world JRPG, where you can see you see your forests, you see your settlements and other factories, stuff like that. But what makes it so different is, again, the way you interact with it. There's just way more stuff to look at, to do, and to collect. You actually can see different animals fighting each other. You can interrupt those attacks, and you can side with one side of the faction, and you get different rewards based on which one you do. The side quests themselves are very much exploration based, and you'll be taking characters with you and actually embarking on those quests and stuff like that. And there's always something really cool to look at. Like, it's a very well designed world, and that's something that makes it so much fun to play too. On top of that, the music, I would say, Walt, because I know we touched on this with like Tales of Arise and a couple other stuff. Like, like I love music in games, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 felt like it was lacking a bit in the beginning part. But the more like I keep exploring, and like the more I'm like actually being enveloped and going to different places, it just feels so characteristic that even if it's not the greatest soundtrack that Xenoblade's put out, is definitely the one that's still memorable. Like, it feels like, yeah, this is a Xenoblade game, and it's specifically Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because there's so many defining elements of it, and you hear that through the music too. And
there's good synergy between the actual game and the music.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a perfect word to use, the synergy of it. Because even when I was booting up this morning, and I was going through an area I already been to before, I had started having more of a tuned ear to the music. I was like, oh god, it's actually like it fits the vibe of what I'm doing and what's going on and stuff like that. So
right,
it's really good. I also mentioned last time that they have this job system that each character is more flexible on what they can do in the battlefield, because they can be assigned a job, and they could be either the defender, the healer.
You love your job
attacker.
systems.
I love my job systems, man. I love them. And this one has it's interesting because Bravely Default and Default 2 are very good about this job system. They have at least like 20 to 30 or something like that, I think, of jobs that you can have, and each are really cool and fun. And what makes like the system so unique is that each game has different names and meanings and gameplay styles for each job that's been put in. So a healer is not just a healer. Sometimes it could be like a melee healer, and one of the ones that's in this game is the one that uses like is it nunchucks? What I'm thinking of, the two bars that are chained together.
Yeah.
Right, nunchucks. Yeah. So one like uses like a huge like energy nunchuck that they just thrust out at enemies, but they use that to heal everybody too. It's just like, it's so cool.
My question, Macho, however, because Xenoblade, I have never played 1. I've played 2. I didn't beat it because these games are very massive. That one I never finished. But I love the game. I'm going to go back and finish it at some point. The voice acting, a lot of people had troubles with the voice acting in Xenoblade 2. Because it was very theatrical. It was a bit exaggerated at times. How is the VA here in Xenoblade 3?
Much better.
Oh, okay. So, like, in comparison...
I'm not even exaggerating. Yeah, it's way better.
Okay.
Let's just say this. For Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I switched to Japanese dubs because I just didn't...
Oh, you can switch, okay.
Dubs. Yeah, you can. Yeah, in all the games you can switch to Japanese or English dubs if you're not feeling like the English side of it. But for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I loved it, and then for 3, it's way better. Like 1 came out in 2011, so you're gonna hear some stiltedness. You're gonna hear like a little bit of kind of cliche, maybe a little bit of cheesiness in it. But in 3, it feels like it's grown up. It's a lot like Tales of Arise in their dialogue and how it's delivered in their writing, stuff like that, where it just feels like these characters would be saying some of these things. But then there's other times too where like they have the anime moments. Like one of the girls, her name is Senna, that you play as. It was a very comical.
Is that the big hammer girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like walking past. So the camera's like it's fixed, and then you see her just kind of walking across. She goes past the camera angle, and she walks back, looks back at the camera, and I kid you not, she literally says this, guys. Gasp! The food is gone. Like, she says the word gasp. So it's again, so it had like those really quirky anime moments, but like it's very few and far in between. It doesn't ruin any like actual like story pivotal dramatic moment either. Like the voice actors are really really well done.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because you'll be listening to these mofos for a lot of time.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. And the thing is, I think the two main characters, really, the ones that are kind of really the driving points of both of like the opposing groups, Mio and Noah, both of them do like a really great job of adding some drama to their characters, because the thing is like they're very like they're very down to earth in how they think and certain things, and they think very deeply about what it means to be human, what does it mean to live, and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of their dialogue between them two is very natural. It feels very like, you know, they think about these things a lot, because the entire premise of Xenoblade 3 is that these kids essentially are born to fight. They're born to actually kill, and that's their life. Their life is to kill and to fight. So when that disruption comes into their lives, they immediately start thinking about, well, why do we fight? Why do we live? And stuff like that. And it never feels like it's too cliche. It always feels like it's they're talking about real things and stuff that real people will talk about, you know? So they do a really great job. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 so far, I'm like chapter 4, I think. Maybe the end of chapter 3. Apparently there's even more stuff to go, and from hearing like the later chapters just do an incredible job with the story. And I think Kate and Krista podcast, I think Krista's saying that one part made her cry.
Yeah, she mentioned that she got to that one part that people keep referencing at the end of chapter 4 or something, which is like it hit her. And when you talk of when a video game has a moment, like when we talk Last of Us, it's like, oh, wait until you past that part in the beginning, you're gonna be like, it's like, what part? And we know what part, with Joel. So it's like games, when they have a moment, oh, you know that moment's gonna be juicy,
Yeah. I mean, specifically on Last of Us, my moment is Henry. That rocked me to my core. But yeah, no, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 so far is just incredible. I love it so much. I'm just enjoying what it is right now. I'm not rushing through it and just taking my sweet time with it. It's absolutely just another JRPG in the Switch lineup for 2022. It's just like, they're dominating right now. Like
this year is scrumptious for JRPG.
Yes, sir. And speaking of that, the other one I've been playing is Final Fantasy 14.
Nah,
of course.
Is it free?
I don't got my mug, damn it. I forgot the tagline. But I've been playing the new patch 6.2, that comes with the new Island Sanctuary. So you essentially get like your own island where you can farm crops, you can raise animals.
Farming simulator?
It's essentially Stardew Final Fantasy 14. Yes,
bro.
Sir. Yes, sir. This piece of content was the enabler to get my coworker to start playing, and she just finished a Realm Reborn last night. So
wow,
she's pumped.
Dude, Jay, and I have to have our own farm now.
I'll name it the Shock and Sense Island.
The Shock and Sense.
Eric, come visit. Yeah, anybody who plays Final 14, come visit my island, the Shock and Sense Island. But yeah, so far, I mean, this patch has been amazing so far. I just finished the actual story last night, and I love the characters they're introducing, and we're essentially coming off of like the big pivotal moment of Endwalker, where you're supposed to feel like just an adventurer. You're not the hero anymore. You're not the savior. You're just someone that wants to explore the world and help people. And we kind of got to a new realm last night, where we got a lot of really cool introductions from past Final Fantasy games, some cool villains, and awesome music, an incredibly hard boss fight I did last night that I was tripping nutsacks over.
Hey, yo.
I was tripping it was crazy, dude. And then it's just it's very chunky patch, man. There's lots of stuff to do in this game, or at least in this patch alone, and all of it's been super fun, and I've just been absolutely been enveloped by it. It's been incredible. The PvP will piss me off though. The actual crystalline conflict, because it's like Overwatch, where you have to like move a payload, except you move a crystal. Hardy, Final Fantasy.
The elemental crystals.
Yeah, but it's a 5v5 team-based mode, and it's randomized in who actually is on the other team. So you can have 5 DPS on one team, and then like 2 tanks, a healer, and a DPS on the other. So it can create some really imbalanced moments and just piss you off. But there's a lot of great reward tied to it, so I'm farming it. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see it, check out the stream yesterday. Like the first like half an hour or so, I was just raging because PvP sucks. I hate
Where
it.
can they check that stream?
Yeah, might as well, man. I was like, what the hell, dude? It's so aggravating. But regardless, yeah, it's been a lot of fun the past couple weeks with these 2 games, and then yeah, a little bit of multiverse too. So that's just about it.
Multiverses. Man, I can't wait until Walter White is in that game, man.
Hopefully, dude. I was waiting for Gandalf, but you know, one of the news that came from the past week. Who knows if Lord of the Rings is going to be in this game anymore? So,
bro, that game has so much potential to have like one of the craziest movie TV show rosters ever. You know, because while Smash does video games, Multiverse very much is the TV movie fighter.
Yeah. Did you guys see the 90s ad that I sent you yesterday?
The 90s ad.
That's a no.
No, I don't think so.
You gotta watch it, man. It's hilarious. I can't spoil it, but you guys have to watch it. It's so funny. They do a whole bunch of 90s callback. I don't know. You haven't watched like a lot of old movies yet, but there's a time where DVDs had like this really weird ad that in the beginning of the DVDs were like, don't pirate or stuff like that. It's like, and you see like these kids kind of go on a computer and like try to hack and stuff. And the whole ad was basically just to say like, don't pirate your DVDs. You can go to jail, like all that stuff. That 90s throwback is in this ad for Multiverses, and it's so funny.
Bro, the one that I've seen, I think it's on YouTube, is these people it's a fake computer, and there's like a paper on the screen that says like percentage, and it's like pirating or something, and it's like a set, like a theater set, and all you hear is them like, oh, like, we're gonna be downloading so much good stuff. Yeah, wait, look at this. And then some other dude kicks the door down, and you just hear, but it's because the speaker blew up, and it's like he's peaking too much, and he's just saying, police, pirating is bad, come here, you cannot do that. And it's so cringy.
Yeah, it has a little bit of that in the ad, but it's overall just the whole dialogue is just funny too in general.
Right.
They have like the announcer be like, you know, play as your favorite make believe made up character like Shaggy, and you're like zoinks, and then what was the other one? He was like, you know, Batman, and then LeBron James. So you gotta watch it, man. It's such
LeBron
a great ad.
James.
You guys haven't seen it.
That's crazy, man. LeBron James can fight Batman, and like that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's so zany and cool. LeBron James could duke it up with Taz, and Multiverse is dope. Oh, Walt is so Taz, dude. That's. But yeah, man. That's all I've been playing, man.
Good stuff, man.
Nice, man. Sounds like a pretty busy week for you.
You sound so uninterested.
So it's like, wow, man. So like, cool story, bro. Tell another one.
Yo, I swear we could be in A&A meeting and Soul would be like, okay, are you sure?
Really, man. Wow.
Y'all lost me when Walt started making them noises, you know. So
The one.
yeah, that one right there. That was the one where my mind started wandering. I was like, oh man.
Funny boy. You funny man.
But let's get through some of these topics, man. Want to remind everyone to go ahead and like the podcast, share it out once again. We got a couple people in watching right now live, so that's pretty cool. We always appreciate that.
Welcome on in, everyone.
So yeah, let's talk about guys. I think I made the right decision in avoiding Saints Row like the plague.
Remember that time you said you were really excited to play that?
Dude, I remember when I said that. That was crazy.
I don't think I was really excited to play that. I said, you know what? I'm intrigued. I think I said something along those lines.
I bet.
Put your writer brain away, man. You said you're flip floppy excited. You're like, I can't wait to move down.
Oh, gee, Willikers.
Oh man, y'all putting some words in my mouth, man. I don't think those words were ever associated with Saints Row.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reviews came out, and I think it's something at like a 68 on Metacritic, something around there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty much once we started seeing more gameplay before release, it was pretty much exactly what I think a lot of us were saying, that it just looked like a generic open world game. Turns out that it's also really buggy. The characters are incredibly cringe. So
It looked like it too, man.
Dude,
Yeah,
the writing, the specific first mission, and the writing there where he just starts cursing, my face caved into my skull, and I disappeared into another dimension of how much cringe I was experiencing with that damn scene, man. Like I just saw Moist Critical play the game, and he was having a blast because it was just so bad that it's good. Like, not that it's so bad that it's funny, but it is not an enjoyable experience. It is not a good experience as gameplay wise.
Face caved into.
Yeah, man. No, I felt like like I was, it was like rubber.
That's such a great description. I love it.
Yeah. Continue, Jay.
yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say, man. So,
Yeah, man.
I mean, I guess it's just pretty much what people were expecting. I guess it sucks because this was supposed to be Saints Row's big comeback, and it's been anything but that, really.
It's interesting because for me, so here's the thing with Saints Row, you have a lot of people that really, really wanted the old Saints Row, the classic, street level, very grounded, GTA, cartoonish kind of approach. For me, Saints Row, I play my first Saints Row was Saints Row the third, and it was bonkers. It was already bonkers. You had jets flying through the city. There was a zombie outbreak. There was a big shield type ship in the sky that crashed onto it was insane. It was all over the place. You could smack people on the street with a dildo and streak naked. Like, it was crazy. And then 4 came out, and it just went another level.
You were selling a little too hype about that.
It was crazy, man. I had a blast. Smacking people with, plastic toys. But then Saints Row 4 came out, and that they were self-aware, I feel like. They were very cognizant of the fact that, okay, we don't make sense. And they just went full-on alien invasion. You're in a simulation. You have a crew of people on your ship where the simulation takes place in. There's a DLC where it's a returning character that goes into hell and back. Like, there's a dubstep gun that makes people dance and die. Like, there's all over the place. So for me, I was like, man, this next Saints Row better be just as wacky. Like, I enjoy that aspect. I enjoyed those Saints Row specifically. Well, needless to say, they try to go more grounded, but the writing, the world is empty. The gameplay is very uninspired. Apparently, it feels even more dated than the latest entries. What this did, unfortunately, is make me nervous. Nervous for what, you may ask, or maybe not. Maybe you don't care. I am nervous because Dead Island 2 is coming out next year, and that's a game that, Dying Light, as opposed to Dying Light, or Dying Light that has parkour and has all these things going for it. Dead Island is very much just a zombie slasher. It depends on its, I guess, characters and how intricate they are in terms of, how larger than life they are and how bombastic they are. I hope that they don't go the route of Saints Row and start writing this Zoomers type dialogue. I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'm shaking. I'm quivering in my boots.
I mean, it's two different developers.
Well, the thing is that even though it's different developers, it's the same kind of vibe that I get of, okay, it's a returning franchise, like, but in this day and age, I know it's a sequel, but how long has it been since we've heard of Dead Island 2? And seeing as they're going, again, for the larger-than-life characters, the trailer looks promising to me, but I still worry because you just gotta be anxious all the time, man, like a cat. You know,
Macho, you saw the reviews, obviously. What were you thinking?
And I was like, oh, that sucks with the development team. Yeah, case in point, man. Because like to see all that stuff, I like you have to wonder like what went wrong. You know what I mean?
everything.
What went wrong in the development for them to even push it out and it to be in a buggy state? Like it's you can kind of forgive a game for being bad even if it's polished, right? But a game that's just not even polished, and you're kind of screwed there, man.
Well, I would take that a step further and say that there's still some enjoyment to be had with a game that's like quote unquote bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But yeah, like I would, and this might sound wild, but like I would prefer a game that's bad over a game that's just boring. You know, and I think that's what this game is. That this game is boring, just straight up boring
And dated. It's not inspired.
because it feels like it's a game out of like 2012.
Exactly.
So yeah, like I what I'm trying to say is I would have more fun with a game that's quote unquote bad than just something like Saints Row that just feels like it was made, churned out in a factory, just shit it out and slapped a $60 price tag and said here you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird with seeing a game like this where like you say like it's dated and its mechanics and its open world environment stuff like that. When sometimes people like that kind of thing, but nowadays like you want something that respects your time. And from what I got from this one, it seemed like it just didn't respect your time. So
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is very different, but I'm gonna make the comparison still. It's the difference in how there's formulas that need to be changed, and when there's two games, Saints Row and another game that came out this year that has dated design, but one of them works more than the other, but it's because of the quality behind it. And I think the other game being Elden Ring, where the design is still a Dark Souls design. I would call it an archaic design, a pretty dated design, but it still works out at the end of the day, with the world and the enemies and the bosses and the music. But Saints Row, it's dated, but then it has nothing going for it. There's no music going for it, no character, no moments, the writing itself. So I think it's a nice duality of games of how both can be dated, but it can stand on its own if it had the right aspects to it.
yeah, there's no carrot on a stick essentially.
Yeah.
With those games, essentially they like if you really look at it, like Resident Evil and Dark Souls games are very similar in a sense of exploration is key, and you're finding things to unlock new things, and that kind of gameplay system just is so addicting and so fun and rewarding. You just keep on doing it, and next thing you know, you're watching the end credits. And for open world games, it's not tougher because you're leaving it to the player to do their own thing and to find those keys to unlock more stuff. But if there's something where it's just not fun in between, you're just overall, if it's not fun, then it's not worth doing. So why would you do it?
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks with this game. But I mean, I just remember playing Saints Row 3 and loving the hell out of that game, even getting the platinum trophy on it.
Oh wow!
So it kind of sucks to I grinded, for sure.
Wow,
it was a lot of fun. But to that point though, it's kind of sucks to see this game really fall by the wayside. It looks like it has some really cool ideas, but the execution is just not there, which sucks. But
yeah, and for me, it truly comes down to the writing. It really, because I looked at it and I was like, I can see myself playing this, but only if it was fun to listen to. It is not fun to listen, dude. there's literally a point where if different voices have different dialogue at a certain point, where the guy goes crap, crappity, crap, crappity, crap, and it's like, what is this? What is happening?
Oh man!
What are you cursing? What is going on?
That sounds a lot like Gotham Knights dialogue.
Oh man!
Oh, whew. That's tough. That's another another kind of words. But yeah, man, it's crazy how who approved it.
I know. Yeah, I know. So, exact thoughts right through my head. Yeah.
It's very interesting, man. Very interesting. What a time we live in.
Yeah, what a social experiment it is.
And it's made even worse. I feel like 2022 was the worst possible year for this game to release, and because 2022 has been relatively light on big games. This was one of we went through a pretty dry spell. Now things are about to pick up, but yeah, this was the first big game to come out in what felt like a few months, and for this game to be that game, to be the one to kind of relieve us of the dry spell. Sucks that it had to be this game,
I mean, I don't know about dry per se. I do know that there's been a like in terms of AAA, it hasn't been as abundant or as these big titles that we've come to expect in a yearly basis.
What new games did you play in June, July?
Oh, in June, July. I thought we were speaking of the first half of the year, because now it's picking up for the second half of the year. But for June, July, no, it's been mostly old games. I haven't played any new games. But I think from January to May, I mean, Sifu, Elden Ring, Horizon, Kirby, Triangle Strategy. Like, there's been games, but for the summer,
Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, I mean,
of course.
But I think
I'm saying
the summer,
that we're in, like, pretty much currently.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
I agree there.
It sucks that it was this game to quote unquote try to be the one to break us out of that, and kind of backfired. But
for me, this is equivalent for me to a Battlefield, where it's like the expectations were there and the excitement was there in a certain way, but it just
I disagree with that, because I feel like this game has had a target on its back since day one. The moment that they revealed the sort of dialogue and the sort of vibe that this game was going for, people were like going against this game, because like it felt so different from like Saints Row 1 and 2, that sort of vibe and aesthetic. So yeah,
I do think that Saints Row had more people playing it and realizing how bad it is, and Battlefield was more of a hearing people and seeing how broken it is and not playing it. I might be just my circle though that behave that way.
But yeah, man, that is Saints Row. It's unfortunate, man. I guess the next big game is Last of Us Part 1. That's coming out in a few days. So, speaking of the Last of Us IP, we got a brief, very, very brief, like, what was it, like 30-second little clip from HBO that was showing sort of like what's coming up in the near future for the platform. I thought it was very interesting that the placement of The Last of Us. I don't know if you guys like noticed that I think they opened with House of the Dragon and then they closed with The Last of Us. So I think that goes to show you, that HBO is definitely like looking at Last of Us like this is going to be their next big thing.
Which is really interesting, actually.
Yeah,
because there's only 2 games in the entire series.
Yeah, which was definitely a question I've been thinking about. It's like, man, like what are they gonna do after this? Are they just gonna go straight to part 2? Because this isn't a thing like Game of Thrones where they could make 8 seasons out of it, unless they're like, okay, season 1 is only the summer section from Last of Us part 1, and they break it up like that, which I don't think they will.
No,
but
I can see them doing 2 seasons and doing summer, fall, and winter, spring. I can see them doing that.
All right, I don't know. Knowing HBO though, they're when it comes to their shows, they're very much open and closed. So I seen this one being very much all
Just the
of
one
first
season?
game.
Okay. I mean, that's
That way it gets
interesting
some
to
resolution. Like obviously
do.
they can, obviously you can like give them the carrot on the stick and be like. But the thing, even with Game of Thrones, like you had a very much like defining opening and closing for each season, with obviously ties to the next season, stuff like that, and more questions to be answered. But with Last of Us, I feel like it's a very good like one season kind of thing. But if you did want to put into multiple seasons, there's also that too, because that's why they're probably going to introduce us all these different characters.
Well, yeah, to be fair, yeah, they did show, I mean, up to the snow area. So they are doing up to winter at the very least. What
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll even touch on bless you. I wonder if they will do they'll even get to spring, which I think that's where a lot of the beauty or a lot of the
they showed literally the scene where Joel says, the whole you're on thin ice, that whole my favorite part of the entire game.
yeah,
That conversation.
It's in
that
fall,
happens in
right?
spring. No, that happens.
It's in spring, really.
Yeah, it's in
Or
spring.
wait, is it in winter?
No,
It's the whole Jackson Dam area, so that might actually be...
that's fall.
No.
No, that's fall.
No.
Yeah,
Are you
is it not?
sure? Oh, okay, it takes place after winter.
Okay,
So it is spring.
is it?
Yeah. And fall is the last section of the game. Where you take Ellie to the hospital. That's fall.
No, that's spring.
No,
That's spring. No, that's
Man,
spring.
what kind of PlayStation podcast are we? Oh,
No,
man.
no. Okay.
This is wild.
Okay.
Nah, it's okay.
This is gonna bother me the whole week. We need to break this down. Okay.
No,
So-
winter.
Summer.
Winter is literally the section where you play as Ellie.
Yes, it
Right,
is.
We all agreed. Yes.
It
okay.
is,
And
it
what
is.
comes after winter? Spring.
Spring.
Which is where you go to Jackson, right? Tommy's whole area. That's spring. That's also the moment where you have the conversation with Ellie in that room. The best part of the game to me. Where she's like, everyone has left me except for fucking you. That's spring, and then fall. Or no, okay,
No!
okay, gotcha.
That's
And then
not spring.
Summer is the hospital part.
Yeah. The
Gotcha.
game ends. The game ends at summer.
Gotcha. Fall is the beginning of the game.
No, it starts with. Wait, am I going crazy right now? Am I like delirious? Keep going. I need to research some.
I think the
I'm
game.
pausing
game
this.
starts at fall. I think the game starts at fall.
No, I think fall. Okay, I think it does start in summer. Fall, I remember. So when you Macho, you're just talking about the Henry death scene. I think the moment when Henry dies, doesn't the screen goes black and then it says fall. I'm pretty sure.
Yes!
Fall happens after. Henry's death.
Yes, it does. And then fall, you go and meet Tommy, or he takes you to Jackson. And that's when the whole, everyone's left me except for you. And then after that, winter. And that's when Joel gets messed up.
You're right.
I played the game, Soul.
When did they go? I got confused too, and I played the game. But when did they go to the university? I'm trying to remember when they went to the university.
I think
thought
that's
that
fall.
That's fall.
okay. So in my head, I was thinking that was spring, but
No,
what?
spring is the last section where the giraffe is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll never doubt you again. All right.
But it's because he's looking it up. That's why. Don't
I
give
didn't
him all
look it
that.
up. There's no way to look it up.
Yeah, let's not give him his flowers, man. I take
Yeah,
those flowers
no.
back.
Hey!
Remember, he's looking. He's getting all confident and reading his voice because he's looking at Wikipedia. That's why.
No, there's no. When I look up Last of Us season, it just says, "Oh, Last of Us HBO is gonna have one season." It's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. So I am depending on my mind. Anyways,
So you do admit to looking it up in the
but I never found it. But I said it at the beginning. I was right all along, guys.
I don't know. That's a cheater's mentality right there.
Yeah, copium. But what were we talking about?
I think the show looks great. The show looks
Yeah,
great.
it looks fantastic. And Pascal delivers his line like a champ. At least that the little that we get, and I think Bella, the vibes of Ellie are there, and I like her portrayal of Ellie. Whatever we got, the little snippet that we got, I hate that the first thing that I see on Twitter is not even about her performance or like about anything on the trailer. It's just that I couldn't stop looking at her forehead kind of deal. And it's like, dude, like,
Oh, really?
yeah, man, like it ain't even.
And she's like 15. Why are people paying attention to that?
I don't
Like,
know, man. I don't.
That's so weird.
They're weirdos on the internet, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. The environments look super gritty. I can tell it's gonna be a depressing show. I'm excited.
Yeah. I was thinking about Pedro Pascal's past performances too, and I remember how he said that he didn't play the game so that he didn't cloud like his performance of playing Joel in the show and like direction from Neil and like whoever else is the producer on that.
Right.
And I remember that we were kind of worried about that. And I was thinking like, this dude's still like a damn good actor. He could basically just do just about anything when it comes to being on the screen. And I was watching him break down like his most iconic roles that from all these different shows like the past 20 years. And one of them obviously was being Oberyn in Game of Thrones.
Yes,
and
sir.
I immediately thought, man, did this guy even read the books? Like, did he even pick up the third book? What's it called? There's Game of Thrones.
Crown of Kings.
Crown of Kings is the second one. Sword of Storms, maybe. Either way,
Raven or something.
Either way, when the third book when he gets introduced, you immediately get like this sense of like this aura of like suave and kind of like this guy's like two chess steps of ahead of you, kind of thing. And Pedro Pascal absolutely just emasculated that in the show. Like you can feel that in the show. And in my head, I'm like, I wonder if he read the books. And he didn't mention it, but I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna guess he didn't read the books and was still able to kind of get this really cool character across. So I have high hopes for him in The Last of Us. He looks really cool. I guess Walt said like his line delivery was great too, and I'm loving the set pieces too. I'm sure you guys caught the clicker that was attached to the wall.
Yeah.
That was so sick, man. Of course, the prosthetics in this show is gonna be really dope. I'm really, again, I know it's gonna use some CGI, but I'm really hoping that a lot of it is prosthetics and is like makeup, and all of a sudden people have to sit in chairs for 7 hours just to make it look right. But it's worth it, man. It really sells the scenes and all that. So it's what made Lord of the Rings so iconic. So
did they
probably do the same with this?
Did they already cast David?
They have had to.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know the actor that is doing David? No.
I'm pretty sure we do, but I don't know his name.
Okay.
No, you saw a little bit of Nick Offerman in there though.
Yeah, is he Bill?
He has to be. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro! I'm so excited for that. I love that guy. Guy. Oh man.
But yeah, man, it looks pretty damn good so far.
Yes, sir.
Excited to get the full-fledged trailer eventually.
And it's cool that both of them have been on Game of Thrones, so it's a nice little.
Oh yeah.
Little bring back Bella. Bella was a badass.
So speaking of PlayStation Productions, we got a couple of breaking or just some articles from Deadline specifically that said that not only is PlayStation Productions working on a Days Gone movie, an adaptation of the 2019 game from Bend Studio, they are also working on. I don't care about that. I don't want to talk about that. The one thing I do want to talk about is that PlayStation Productions is also making a Gravity Rush movie, man.
Oh my god.
I will get the writers and the people who are working on it in a second. But were you guys as shocked as I was?
You know what? What immediately thought into my head, I put into the tweet yesterday. Movie, TV. Why are we getting more announcements for movies and TV from PlayStation than actual games?
Stop.
It's true.
Listen,
it's
buddy.
True.
They haven't had a showcase this year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All we know that's coming out for next year is Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, actually, let's have this conversation because I wanted to. I don't know if it was. I didn't want to have it last week because Walt wasn't here.
Right.
But if obviously if we have a showcase this year, I'm saying to temper expectations. I don't like just
Ooh.
running through first party wise. Who is honestly ready to show anything, right? Like go down the line. Housemarque just shipped a game. Blue Point shipped a game 2 years ago. Maybe they're ready. Haven literally just got established last year. They're years away from showing anything. Maybe Deviation, that studio that's partnering up with PlayStation, the former Call of Duty devs and whatnot. So maybe them, right? Naughty Dog is just about to release part one. They released part two in 2020. They're still, you would have to imagine, years away from their next big IP. God of War Ragnarok is about to come out. Corey's game, we don't know anything about that, so you'd imagine that's years away. Guerrilla just released Forbidden West, right?
PSVR 2, we have a couple there. We have the Horizon VR game that was
Sure,
announced.
but we don't know in terms of Fire Sprite where the other three projects where they are at development wise. Sucker Punch just released Tsushima 2 years ago. They're
Right.
years away from Ghost of Tsushima 2. Obviously, we know Insomniac has Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, but Spider-Man's next year. Wolverine probably further out. Team Asobi just released Astrobot in 2020. You have to imagine they'll still need a little bit more time for their next project, which we'll probably talk about. But they just said they're just starting on that. Ben Studio just got the A-OK from Sony to work on a new IP last year, so they're very early on whatever they're working on. I think Meteor Molecule, talk about that. I mean, I would imagine Dreams is what they're working on for the foreseeable future.
Which is troubling, because what have they done with that other than DreamCon?
Well, they actually have just been hiring like crazy. There was something about they're doing like they're hiring for like a live service thing. So like we'll see whatever that turns out to be.
So that's probably that's probably one of the 10 too. Then
right.
Okay.
Pixel Opus, we just got the announcement last year that they're partnering up with Sony Pictures on their next project, right? So like I mean I could keep going, but like that's my thing is that like these teams either just released the game or are just starting on their next project. So that's why I'm saying like we'll obviously see Insomniac, we'll probably see God of War Ragnarok again here. We'll probably get one or two things, or not one or two things, but we'll see a few things first party wise. But like I'm not expecting quote unquote like the big guns to really be there, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. It's just weird, like coming from the past couple of weeks, and all of it's been like movie and TV deals and announcements. When people just want to see like a state of play for God of War Ragnarok, or even some update in Spider-Man 2. But again, we're waiting for that showcase. Just that, I think it just kind of goes back to my initial problem with PlayStation in the beginning of the generation, which again another can of worms we'll talk about another time. But of them just being like a lack of communication and not really kind of savoring the moment, the limelight they're in, and just really going with the film. I don't know. It's a whole another conversation. But to your point, yeah, Gravity Rush, getting a movie.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
It's hard for me to imagine. Like, it's the kind of thing where...
And why a movie, too?
I can understand that if it's animated. Like, a live-action...
That's the thing, man.
Gravity Rush movie just doesn't... I don't... How?
It can't be live action. It can't be live action.
If this thing is live action, put me in a fucking coffin, man, and I'm out of here. Like Walt, this is the perfect IP to do an animated TV series or a movie, whatever. They already did a little 2-episode anime with Gravity Rush back in the day for Gravity Rush 2.
Dude, the cutscenes themselves, there's already content in the games themselves that show cutscenes of like it's animated in a way that works. I think this is also like, imagine the Arcane style of animation with this property. Imagine like that 3D, kind of 2D form.
Dude, or just even just taking the Spider-Verse team and putting them on this, like they could truly just zipping through Gravity, or just like, can you imagine like I forget what the name of the city is in Gravity Rush 2, but just like
the three layers, the slums, the rich area, and like the middle part.
Just jumping off of the rich area, going all the way down to the slums, and how like they can make that look,
and how she will look when she goes into gravity mode, and how she looks like galactic, like it's almost like the stars are coursing through her veins, and like that.
I'm getting like arcane vibes from that when what was it when Violet went down the elevator and you see like the slums and everything.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
they can play with perspective. They can play with that perspective and make for some real amazing shots. But on a live action setting, can y'all like pitch me like, okay, what do you do?
No.
For live action, do you even work? Like, here's the thing: if you're doing live action,
a robotic animated cat talking to me, kind of like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like, nah, I don't want that.
Because the thing with live action, I don't see them. I wouldn't want them to work because that's the magic of Gravity Rush. Is the gravity aspects, the world, the traversing, doing something that doesn't have that. It doesn't have the gravity mechanics in it, and that which is wouldn't work for a movie. I think just the drama. That at that point, it's just a movie. It's not a Gravity Rush movie. It's just a movie.
I'm telling you guys right now, I'm going to be sick to my stomach if this thing is live action. I just don't understand the rationale behind that. When you have things like what the Death Note adaptation on Netflix, right?
Which they're making another one.
They're doing One Piece. They're doing Yu Yu Hakusho on Netflix, right? Like, and you know, Avatar's getting a live action thing as well. Like, these things just never, especially coming off of animated series. You have Dragon Ball Evolution as well. Like, these things, like things that were traditionally animated and then making them into live action just never work. They're making a goddamn Paprika live action movie.
What?
One of the most beautiful like animated movies I've ever seen.
Don't do Satoshi like that. Don't do
making it into a live action thing, and like it's not gonna work.
They're making a Yu Yu Hakusho live action as well.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
There is no world that I envision.
Look at Cowboy Bebop, and that had potential to be like it's grounded enough. Like there's sci-fi in it, but it's grounded enough where you can make an actually like successful TV show out of it, and they messed that up too.
Yeah. So I just I'm telling you guys.
But listen to this, Soul. Listen to this real quick. Just hear me out, everyone. What if it works? What if they actually make it work
in live action?
Yes. What would that look like? Like just playing devil's advocate.
Oh, I don't know what it will look like, but
like, do you do the powers?
Oh, I mean, that's like integral to the that's the game. That's the central.
I just see an executive saying, "No, let's not do it." Just see an executive. No.
Well, I mean, PlayStation's behind this, so
to me, it would have to be animated. I mean, I don't even know if PlayStation have respect for Gravity Rush anymore, considering like that series is just not a thing.
I mean, games. they must see something if they want to make it into because I mean, you guys know there's so many other IP that they could have chose, right?
Yeah.
I would have taken a goddamn Infamous series. I would have taken a goddamn Sly Cooper series before this, but
Ratchet and Clank.
Gravity Rush for whatever reason.
I mean, Ratchet and Clank had that, mildly successful movie.
No, I heard that bombed.
But also, to be fair, that was before PlayStation Productions was established. So,
but it is possible to do a movie that is not live action and work. It didn't work back then, but it could work now. Sure,
but I mean, that was those are anamorphic characters or whatever.
Yeah, there's actual like people. Oh, now you know what's crazy? So you know what would be the icing on the cake in this case if they do live action? Change the name. Like not do Cat,
Gravity,
not do Cat, and do like Sophia or some shit. I don't know. Like not do Cat, not do Raven.
Cat's a great name for protagonist. I like.
Yeah, but they could go like, oh no, let's change it up. It's not Gravity Rush, but it is Gravity Rush.
Again, the fact that PlayStation Productions and Asad Kizilbash is he's involved with this as well. I mean, obviously not with the story or anything like that, but just the fact that he is once again involved with this. he's a big fan of the original as well.
Okay.
I remember back in the day, he was like, he pushed to get a physical release for the remastered in 2015 or 2016, whenever that came out. So he loves the game.
Okay.
He's not gonna let something like that happen. That's my opinion, but
Hey,
I can see the way we were speaking to so before on like they have all his IP and what they can do with it. I think it's a mix of they have IP they want to globalize in TV and movies and say, hey, who wants to work on whatever, or a studio came up to a really great idea for one IP, and I think this is the case with Gravity Rush.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, that's what I hope for, because like if that studio, if the people that are working on it next Gravity Rush or the Gravity Rush movie, the Gravity Rush movie, and they have a great idea behind it, and got the approval, then that's already a good sign. So hopefully.
Yeah. All I know is a live action that I think worked for me, and I think it did somewhat well. It wasn't masterpiece, but it did somewhat well. It was Battle Angel Alita, and I think that did well with the special effects and everything. Again, it's not magical. It's not Gravity Rush, but I think that's something that can be conceived into existence. I think there's a margin of success for this, but it's hard for me to. That's why I'm not in the production room. I guess my mind just doesn't go there. But I mean, this is just something that I cannot see happen in a live action setting. I hope they go animated. I hope.
Yeah, for sure. So the other sort of PlayStation Productions thing that we got was Horizon Zero Dawn. So we found out a while back that this was indeed going to be adapted into a TV series on Netflix. But we just found out that Steve Blackman, the guy responsible for the Umbrella Academy, the fantastic Umbrella Academy,
got renewed for season 4,
the final season.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be helming Horizon, which is pretty dope, man. He did also confirm that yes, Aloy will be the main the protagonist for this, so that kind of debunks the idea of, well, I guess this doesn't completely rule it out, but it does debunk sort of people's theories that this series would take place before Zero Dawn, sort of, the era when, Sobek is actually, creating Zero Dawn and Operation Enduring Victory is happening and the actual battle against the feral robots are happening and whatnot. So I feel like that probably puts a pin on that. Since we're focusing on Aloy, so but yeah, not too much news obviously, but still exciting that we actually have like a name attached to this thing now. So yeah, how do you guys feel about this?
I don't have much to say because I never watched the Umbrella Academy, but
yeah, me neither. I've seen the first 2 episodes, but I haven't seen the whole thing. I hear it's great.
Great things. So yeah, apparently oh, man, I looked at that Deadline article a while ago, but it made me more confident hearing what he had to say around it. So,
yeah, just knowing that like he's a fan, man. Like I think that's important. I was watching a video on the Planet of the Apes. Like this guy did a review for like each individual movie of the trilogy, and when Matt Reeves took over on Dawn. This guy was talking about, like, first and foremost, like, Matt Reeves loves Planet of the Apes, man. And I think that's really important, man, that you need people who, like, have an affinity towards the properties that they are working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Uncharted kind of came out a little wishy-washy for me, because, like, obviously there was people on there like Tom, who loves it, but then like the director, you can tell that guy never played Uncharted in his life probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. I think this is a good sign for sure that he does really really like Horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a TV series, a different beast. You're essentially making, I mean, depending on how many episodes comes out, but Netflix is usually like what, 8 to 13. So you're essentially making like 8 1-hour movies. Or 13 1-hour movies, so like, yeah, you better love it, because you're gonna be looking at that edit screen for a long ass time, man. And make sure the story is right too. It's just, I love that Aloy is actually a main character. I think that's really cool. They're gonna get a live action Aloy. I wonder who's gonna play her.
What's her name? I think we've talked about her. That she'd be great.
Don't say egret.
No, I'm gonna say Brie Larson. Brie Larson. No. I just see them doing like, oh, Natalie Portman. Yeah, it's like, wait, what? What's?
Yeah, Walt wasn't a say egret. That's why you can't think of another name.
Right.
Wait, who's Egret?
He got caught in 4K, man.
Who was who was Egret?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Nah, who's Egret?
I think going back to what I was saying about
Egret.
Steve Blackman being a fan, the writer who.
Oh no, what's her name?
moving on.
Wait, Rose Leslie. No, not. Oh, wait, yeah, she looks. Oh, okay, I see why y'all said not her. Okay, because it's too obvious.
The writer, she's also a really big fan of the game. She took a picture of herself with like her big like collector's edition of Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, when she revealed it,
like, she was like, "Oh, I finally get to talk about this. Like, I'm so excited that I'm gonna be writing the script for the Horizon series on Netflix." And Angie Smets commented on it. She was like so happy for her and whatnot.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man, it's exciting, man. But yeah, man, that is Horizon. And I guess the PlayStation production stuff. You guys want to go over Gamescom?
Yeah.
So obviously it was a Jeff Keighley joint, whatever it's called. So I knew immediately that that's a skip for me. I could go to sleep instead. So I'm gonna need y'all to tell me what happened, man.
I was gonna ask, like, did you watch it? Did you watch it?
No, I saw it coming up on the calendar. I was like, okay, that's a sleep day.
You got an alarm clock. Instead of Gamescom, it was nap time.
And from the reception, I think I was right.
You know what, man? Gamescom happened when? 2 weeks ago?
No, this last week.
It's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, it's live right now.
The weeks have been kind of a blur, man. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I did see it offhand. I think I was playing 14 while I was like listening to it.
Nah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Well,
Oh my god, bruh. Just something that stood out for me. Okay, so I can say what stood out for me. For me, obviously the gameplay for Lies of P, that looks more interesting now than it did before. It's starting to look more less like oh, it's just Souls, something. No, it looks like it has its own gimmicks, its own features, its own approach to the Souls formula, not just a slap Souls like onto this and call it a day. That's looking interesting. The vibes are there. The Bloodborne vibes are there. I like the dark, very, very dark tone that they're going for the Pinocchio story.
Yeah, that's the most interesting aspect for me on that entire thing.
Right, and the one that caught me by surprise was, I mean, we've only seen literally seconds of some gameplay that I don't even know if it's going to be final, but Atlas Fallen, which, first, the trailer.
Yeah, that looked cool too. Yeah.
Bro, the trailer, I looked at it, and I kept telling myself, like, bro, don't expect the game to look anything like this. This is going to be a card game. This is going to be a mobile game. Don't think of anything about it. And then they show gameplay. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This looks exactly like the CG movie that I was watching. It looks super interesting. From the description, it sounds like it's like almost like a Monster Hunter type deal where you're hunting beasts in this barren wasteland. And the weapons, it's cool because the whole thing with the weapons is you're not going to carry them. You have a device that turns the sand around you into the weapon itself. So if you have an axe equipped, instead of equipping the axe on your person, it's going to be you reach out to the sand and an axe materializes. It's so cool the way that they're doing the combat. That one looks really interesting. Macho, anything that popped out that you remember from you?
Yeah, I mean, the Liza P was like a big one. 'Cause I know that they had like a lot of hype around, and I saw the gameplay even afterwards, and it very much looks like a Bloodborne game,
It does.
like a Sekiro, like unabashedly, like it looks like a Bloodborne Sekiro game.
Yeah.
But it looks good either way. It looks fun. I think it's when is it coming out next year, right? 2023.
No, I think it's coming out. Yeah, I know it's coming out day one Game Pass. It's coming out, early next year, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, it looks good. I want to keep my eye on that one just to see like, um, see how like how it develops and everything. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was moving my phone around because I need to pull off you right now. I need to look up like what was actually announced at this thing and see what's going on.
on me. I'm informed. I'm studious. I research. I don't wing it like y'all. So unprofessional. No, you say Sekiro and Bloodborne. I don't
It
think
looks like it, yeah.
No, but the game that does remind me of Sekiro, literally Sekiro and Bloodborne. I don't know if it was announced during Gamescom, but I know that it was announced this year. Wulong.
Yeah, that's the other one too. I just saw last night actually.
That one looks insane. That one looks.
Play it.
That one. Why not?
Because I'm already getting my Neo flashbacks, and that game it takes a lot out of me. Especially after going through Elden Ring this year. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to look at another game like that. I mean, that game is even more punishing than Souls, so I'm good.
Take a few year break.
Yeah.
and get back to it. But for Gamescom also, I like that they showed more of High on Life. I'm looking forward to that game. I know a lot of people are not with the dialogue and the comedy. I enjoy Justin Roiland comedy. I enjoy his very, very childish approach at like telling jokes.
It's just the same joke over
It's just
and
the
over.
same. But for me, I'm just like having a blast. Like I can listen to him just rant all day. Like it works for me. So I'm excited for High on Life.
He's like, you just killed a kid. You killed a kid. You know that? You just killed that kid.
You know what's funny of that scene? Is that when he kills the kid goes, "Ah, you killed me."
Well, those are.
I love it. It sounds so stupid. Ah, you killed me. He does like.
He just cracked his bust in the gut there.
What else? What else? Is there anything that you heard about Soul that you're like, okay, I heard about that. I'm looking forward to that or something.
No.
Oh wow, how boring you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even watch. I mean, I saw like little clips of like the Liza P thing.
Right. Are you looking forward to Lies of P or not?
It's coming out this year, right?
Maybe end of this year, early next year.
I think it's next year. Yeah, I think it's next year.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think it's the end of this year or early next year. I don't know.
Either way, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Boys.
Boys.
More. What?
Outlast Trials. No, so they showed gameplay for Outlast Trials, and I think it looks to have 3 people co-op. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, a lot of the announcements like Gamescom this year didn't really do it for me. Actually, I was kind of surprised. There's a couple that really stood out, but nothing crazy. Whoa, was there an echo in the background?
Yeah, Walt, you good?
Where's Walt doing? Did he go to the bathroom? He forgot to turn his mic off or something? He's like. Yeah, it's still up, but he might have like pressed home on the screen or something. I don't know what he did. Let me just check real quick on audio.
My headset died. Sorry. So I'm using my wired one now.
A little bit more. Or Plague Tale had like more gameplay on the show floor, I think. That game continues to look incredible.
Yes.
The one thing I did watch though was the Sonic Frontiers story trailer. And the funniest thing to me is that like apparently Amy is like captured now or
Yeah.
something. Like what's going on with her, man?
So
Why
your
is she...
your mic's a little low, by the way.
I'm like kind of far away from my mic. Maybe that's why.
Okay, yeah, that's probably why. You're a little low on it, at least on Walt's new headset or whatever.
That didn't change anything.
But you guys can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably like the only thing I really saw. But aside from that, yeah, Gamescom was pretty much what I expected. So
They show more Callisto Protocol gameplay.
Yeah, I was just looking it up actually. The ones I'm looking at the list here, and I remember Phantom Hellcat, which is that 3D hack and slash game that had like a really quick, like a lot of the announcements at Gamescom was really weird. It was like a back-to-back trailers, but like some of the stuff just didn't really like do a good job of like saying what the game was, or like it was like a weird snippet of a game, and then it'll just kind of go to the next one. You're like, okay, that was awkward.
that's what I heard about. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a game called Everywhere, which I think it's being helmed by the guy who, a previous Rockstar developer who apparently was the one who like pitched the idea for GTA Online. So like this is like his new studio. So yeah, the game is called Everywhere. It's like an open world game or whatever. But like he was like rattling off all these or Jeff actually during the while he got the guy on stage, Jeff was like, okay, so like we're a little confused about like what this game actually is, so can you like explain it to us? So yeah, that kind of reminded me of what you just said, Macho.
Yeah, I mean that's how I felt about when I saw Phantom Hellcat. I was just like, okay, that's a great trailer, that's awesome. But, like I don't think there was really any dialogue. It was just showing the hack and slash gameplay, but the art style's really cool, and it looks like like near Automata, so it looked pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned Callisto Protocol. I didn't actually watch that trailer Wall.
Yeah.
I know I want to play that game, so like I'm absolutely going media blackout on it.
So they introduced something called mutations. Basically, there's going to be moments where the enemy will have tentacles coming out of its body, and if you don't kill the enemy in time, it's going to mutate into a stronger enemy type. So they showcase an enemy with tentacles coming out, and of course the player didn't hurt it to showcase the mutation. Basically, it was some straight Cronenberg stuff. The enemy ripped its skin out, like it put his claws into his chest and ripped the left side and the right side, and from inside a stronger enemy emerged. Like it was some like horror like type transformation. Like it looked really insane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
See it.
they showed that with the gravity gun, you can place the enemy in front of an enemy projectile, and that enemy will receive damage. You can throw enemies at other enemies. There's stealth, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's stealth in this game. It's terrifying. They behave like clickers when you're going stealth mode. Like they're just like vibing and like looking for you. But it looks promising. There's the classic sliding section where you're sliding down a sewer system and you have to dodge some pillars and stuff. But they showcased the way that you can die there. Imagine Tomb Raider but worse. Like they're going all out on the death animations for this game.
Sick.
It looks insane. But yeah, man, that one looks promising for sure. I don't know what other games they show that really stood out though.
Well, one I could say that I actually did want to mention was Hogwarts Legacy.
Ooh,
because we got a new trailer for that, and
the collectors.
It's also one of the reasons why that I was perusing on Twitter for a little bit for my hiatus, because I actually went to Chandler Wood's profile, who was the marketing lead on Hogwarts Legacy, and this guy is he has a patience of a saint. He's like one of those marketing leads on a game that like absolutely is on top of everything and just responding to everyone's comments, everyone's questions. This guy's an absolute champ.
Nice.
And he was saying that trailer that we saw in the game was optional. Like that was all optional content that you can do, which is really cool. Because the entire point of it was like, I guess, going to like a Slytherin side quest. I'm doing in like one of like the one of the Unforgivable Curses. That's what I think it is called. And so I think that's really cool. On top of like Hogwarts Legacy, getting like the pre-orders open and all that stuff, and
yeah, collectors. Are you getting that collectors?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, I saw it. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, it's floating on like on a book. That's really cool. It's like, but the whole steel book and everything. But man, that's price tag. That's a steep price tag for a collector's item like that. $300. That's a lot.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a
feels
bit.
like 200 maybe, but 300.
Yeah, 250 maybe. Yeah. Which to that same sentiment, real quick, they released another batch of Last of Us Firefly Edition with the steelbook and everything on PlayStation Direct. But continue.
Nice. So Hogwarts Legacy looks incredible. I just want to give a shout to Chandler Wood too, just because of the fact that I looked on his profile, his replies and everything. Everyone like asking all the same questions and everything. This guy like has a patience with saying. I think is really cool, and it's one of my like favorite things about games and like the game community. Really, when I was on Twitter, was seeing the creators and developers really interact with like the fandom and just kind of really just answer people's questions and get that feedback and everything. I think it's really cool to see that. And Hogwarts Legacy is like it's looking like it's in the right direction with like its presence, and everyone's really excited for it. So I think having that kind of response online is really cool. And again, that trailer just kind of capsized. It made me more excited for the game, just seeing that trailer. So like I'm really, really excited for Hogwarts Legacy. At this point, I'm kind of just fighting in my mind like, do I want to get digital or physical? Which one I want to get now? Because I know that game is going to be a day one, and yeah, for sure. I can't wait to play it.
Something that was announced also during Gamescom, which is pretty good for Sony, is the DualSense Edge.
You can close the door, baby.
Did you see this, Soul? Did you see the picture for this?
Yeah, I saw it.
It is very much just a customizable, pro controller, control mapping and all that. The paddle switches on the back and all that. I don't know if there's a price point for it. It looks cool. I'm glad that there's that option for PlayStation 5 now.
Is that one thing people have been like wanting for a while?
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, more buttons. The back paddles are game changing. So
that should be the tagline of the new controller. More buttons.
More buttons, eh? No, but honestly, if it was something that, like, if I played a lot of multiplayer games, I would for sure consider getting that DualSense Edge. Because I already use the bumper jumping for first person shooters, so like that just it's a win-win.
What's a bumper jumping?
So instead of jumping with X, I jump with the trigger buttons or the bumper.
Oh.
Yeah. Instead of using X, I use L1 to jump in multiplayer games.
Weirdo.
Because then you're not taking away your right thumb from the joystick, and you can just jump and twist and at the same time in the air.
Damn, there's some big brain moves. You hear this
No?
song?
Yeah, he just said he likes having his thumb on the joystick.
And I do that for Overwatch, Destiny. I did it for Call of Duty when I used to play Call of Duty. Yeah, man, it's game changing for sure. It improved my play style quite a bit. But yeah, man, the DualSense Edge, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Wondering when they're gonna. I don't know why they wouldn't just do the price and the release date at the same time as the announcement. I felt like because when that was revealed, everyone was pretty excited and stoked for it. Consensus was that it looked pretty cool and that they were interested in getting it. I got 25,000 likes on Twitter. So I don't understand why you don't take that immediate sort of momentum and drive everyone to pre-order it on the day that you guys announce it. So I don't understand the sort of scattered like drip feed sort of bit of information or whatever. I'm sure that they have the reasoning for it, and maybe they have data that backs up that pre-orders will still be just as strong if they were to put pre-orders up in 2 weeks from now as they were on the original announcement date. But I don't know. From my point of view, I don't know why you just wouldn't do it all on the same day.
Yeah, they could have got a lot of impulse buyers that day.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, it would have probably sold out if they had it for pre-order. Like it's a thing that will happen once it's online.
I'm surprised this thing isn't like releasing right next to God of War, honestly.
For Gamescom also the trailer that I'm cautiously optimistic for. I enjoyed the first one, the Tales of the Borderlands sequel, called New Tales of the Borderlands. I like that they're going the Nintendo route. New Pokemon Snap, new Super Mario Bros. Like it's the Lords of the Fallen, not Lords of the Fallen 2, the Lords of the Fallen.
Man, you can define your sequel by the. It's quite wild.
It's quite I don't know, a bit arrogant.
Apparently it did really well reception wise though, because I think I was telling you before, Walt, how I was watching Benji Sales YouTube video yesterday.
Yeah,
and he was saying that Genshin Impact was the most viewed YouTube video, followed by like Sonic, Hogwarts Legacy, but also The Lords of the Fallen.
Right.
Actually got like a big reception too.
I mean, that trailer is amazing. Like the actual trailer looks really cool. I don't know about the gameplay because there's no actual gameplay, but if it improves upon the first one, then I think it could be moderately successful. The first one wasn't anything to rave about, but it was one of the first like Souls like games aside from the Souls games. The new Tales of the Borderlands trailer, it got me skeptical. I believe the writers that are involved are the Borderlands 3 writers, and Borderlands 3 is not the best in the franchise in terms of writing.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, but
God.
But they had explained that a group of the original Telltale creators and writers from the original game are involved in the process. So I'm cautiously optimistic for it. Because they have people from the first Tales of the Borderlands I had a blast with. I love that game. I think it has one of the wackiest scenes in the whole, just all the Telltale games, with the whole fighting with handguns.
Hot take is the best Borderlands game too.
I agree. No, I didn't beat Borderlands 2. I didn't play Borderlands 3. I saw Borderlands 3. I did not like the decisions in Borderlands 3 story. They did my girl Maya wrong. But yeah, this one, the three main leads, they seem wacky enough and fun enough that they can ride some good old knee slappers right there.
I don't know, man. Like Reed and a bunch of the others were close to a lot of people's heart.
I agree. Maybe they do a little cameo in there, a little,
maybe,
little. But yeah, man. What else did they do in that little?
I mean that's all that I can really think of from that announcement. I mean, the Killer Clowns
from Outer Space.
I thought that was pretty cool. That's like a very old school campy horror flick that I always saw on the DVD case on Blockbuster and just walked away from because it looks so creepy.
And it's the director from the Friday the 13th game, right?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I kind of love how these horror games are coming back or being kind of funneled into this, like, what's it called, Walt? The type of game that the multiplayer games is asynchronous or something like that?
Which one's like
Dead by Daylight?
Like Dead by Daylight? Yeah. And also Evil Dead. Ash's Evil Dead. I forgot the name too, but you're on the right track. And also the type of game that this one is going to turn out, and how Friday the 13th was, and how oh my god, I forgot the name of the game. Not Dead by Daylight, the Evil Dead game. Yeah. I enjoy the resurgence of these horror games. I hope they keep doing more. Right now, the one standing above all is Dead by Daylight, mainly because it really much has all the horror icons in there, or most of them.
Yeah.
The one that they cannot bring into the game is Jason Voorhees, but it is because licensing issues.
Yeah, he's like he has a bunch of red tape on him. Can we talk about the best announcement at Gamescom though?
Which one?
Hideo Kojima announcing his phone.
Oh my god. What a plug. What a plug.
What better way to man, we need to get on that. Can we hit up Jeff Keighley, see if we could talk about DualShock Sense or something?
You cannot tell me that if you knew you had a friend that hosted a games conference, you would not tell him, hey, can you plug me? Like, you cannot tell me you would not do that.
You can imagine if Jeff went to he was like, hey, you got like a game announcer or something? And then he's like, oh yeah, I got one. And he just talks about his podcast.
Jeff is like, this he lied to me. This ain't no game.
he's like, oh, Kojima.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man, that laugh.
It's just
sounded like a dying aquarium or something.
He sounds like Wheezy from Toy Story 2.
Or Dog's chew toy when the squeaky thing inside kind of like goes out. That's what it sounded like. Jesus.
Oh my God.
But speaking of Kojima though, he was having mimosas or something with two marketing guys from Sony Interactive Entertainment. So.
Oh man, they're just breaking bread. He's talking about his podcast.
What's his podcast about? Did you check it out?
No, I did not. I think
it's just him talking about like his creative process.
Oh, speaking of creators and their creative processes, it's really cool that Sakurai actually got his YouTube channel made. He's now doing videos on how like game development for him works and like creative tips and all that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's gonna talk about the crippling anxiety he got making Smash Brothers.
Dude, he was so relieved when he said like he's done, like he's just doing other stuff. Like you can see that this man is experiencing euphoria right now. Like,
but yeah, man, that's Gamescom, man.
Games come and go.
Game and what? Yep, yes, sir. So let's quickly go through this GamesIndustry.biz interview with Team Asobi before we move into the final big topic of the week. So sort of the big bullet points with this interview with studio head Nicholas Doucette was that the studio is now at 60 employees, which is a pretty big jump because I'm pretty sure that they were like really small, like Pixel Lopez kind of size a while ago. But they're at 60. They're expected to be at 100 in the near future. Their next game is already in production, and it is quote unquote their biggest to date. And they also, I forget exactly how they worded this, but Doucette also talked about in the interview how they also have like, they're at 60 right now, but they also have like a small subsect of their team dedicated strictly to just like toying with new hardware and R&D and just really, kind of like DualSense kind of things, right? So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and also the team is also like you'd imagine teams from Japan being kind of strictly Japanese, but like this team is surprisingly, what's the word, there's a lot of variety,
diverse.
Like, it's really diverse in terms of where people come from all over the world, which I thought was really interesting.
I mean, usually with anime, not video games, but in Japan, there are a couple of animation studios that, in general, just companies that do promote the, hiring foreigners or just have people remotely work from other places to promote that diversity or have different perspective within the company. So that's pretty cool for Team Asobi as well.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I'll say is they also said that, or also said that they have like no creative restraints, that they are free to do whatever they want in terms of budget and time as well. So that's also really, really good to hear that, like, it feels like, you know, Asobi really scratched, you know, the surface in terms of like their potential with both Astro's Playroom and Rescue Mission. But now it seems like their next project is just going to be like them really taking a leap, is what it feels like. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited for Team Asobi's future.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I'm good with whether they do another Astro game or in the similar vein of a platformer, you know, 3D platformer. Whatever they did showcase the capability of them, you know, making the best out of current technology with the DualSense, especially. I'm looking forward to whatever they do. Yeah, I mean,
I think they should. Yeah.
They should keep expanding more on the DualSense capabilities and the SSD and just the power of the PlayStation 5. They really showcase how well they can work with that.
Well, I meant more specifically with Astro. I think they should really double down on Astro as a character and make him, you know,
like a full-fledged game
was for the PS3. Like really make him into, you know, another PlayStation mascot. Macho, how do you feel about that?
I agree, yeah. Because I was gonna say that Astro's Playroom is one of my favorite experiences to this day.
Hell yeah!
With the PlayStation 5, like that day is so cemented in my head of going with Sammy to Best Buy, picking up the PS5, plug it in, and the first thing we both play is Astro's Playroom, and I was just kind of like just in marvel of what the controller's doing and the visuals and just overall just the fun of it. And I think, Sam, didn't you also get the platinum in that game? You played on your account? Oh, you didn't get it yet? But either way, she played it.
Wow,
both kind
what
of
a fake fan. Told her I said that.
He called you a fake fan. she said he's a fake person. But regardless, yeah, Ash's Playroom is amazing, and I'm hoping. I think everybody came out of that experience wanting to say we want this, but bigger.
Dude,
and a longer game.
Make it the Mario PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be really cool if they had two different kind of projects in the work, which one being like something like Astro's Playroom, where it's very centered around obviously the power of the PS5 and the DualSense and stuff like that, but also kind of having like a Mario Maker sort of idea, but for Astro's Playroom, and have that kind of level design aspect of it with different PlayStation properties and IPs and different costumes and characters for Astro and stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool if they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So,
right now
there's a lot of potential there.
The current trend is doing biomes, so just do a open zone Astro game, you know?
Yeah. They already toyed around with that, with like having a bunch of Easter eggs and like the different kind of levels that you were experiencing and going through. So
and creative.
Do that. Yeah, why don't you just do that, but for like all PlayStation IP, have like a world from Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, have
Horizon,
a realm from God of War or whatever, you know.
Yeah, a Bloodborne section. Can you imagine Astro with a hunter getup and just like traversing the fog-filled streets?
Never happen.
Oh man, and then he gets decapitated. I don't know.
He gets decapitated. Yeah, that'll never happen because PlayStation hates Bloodborne apparently.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm really happy to see this. Because it felt like, as long as Team Asobi was sort of like trapped underneath the mess that was the Japan Studio umbrella, that they maybe weren't going to get this opportunity. But now that it seems like they are now like a full-fledged first-party team and they're getting all these resources and backing now, it really feels like they're going to be able to like come into their own now, and I don't know. I think that's really cool.
And they have a big enough team, so that's reassuring.
But we call this an organic growth. So.
Oh my.
I mean, they were already a part of Sony, so I guess.
No, but they can't just buy studios, man. They can't just.
But yeah. So let's move on to the final topic of
Dun,
the
dun.
show.
Bum bum bum
Biggest
bum.
The Sony announced late night. It's funny because I'm pretty sure you guys were probably asleep, but I was I forget. I was probably watching one of the Planet of the Apes movies.
You were watching monkeys at night.
Yeah, as they usually do. And then I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I saw on the I think it's called like the NES bot, which they just like randomly post like new recent era posts that are threads that are being uploaded or whatever. And I see the headline immediately is Sony set to increase the price of the PS5, and I did like a double take, and I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? I did what's that noise that Scooby-Doo makes, Walt?
What?
Exactly.
Ruh-roh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are set to increase the price for the PlayStation 5 in 5 markets, I believe.
Yeah.
Essentially all markets aside from the US.
Not US, exactly. Very, very, very important. Not the US.
Which tells you what is that? Okay, so that tells you that let's see, that the PlayStation, obviously the US Xbox is very strong in this territory, right? So it's very telling that Sony's like, we don't want to fuck with that because, you know, we we're very close with Xbox here in the US. If we were to fuck with the price, obviously that could probably damage our sales here. So we don't want to do that, as opposed to everywhere else in the world where they have a very strong grasp in the other territories. They don't have to worry about that. So it's just very interesting that we're like, you know, we don't want to mess with the status quo in the US because obviously we're really close to Xbox here. So let's not fuck with that.
Right.
So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, so, and I think specifically Japan got hit really hard, man. I think it was like a 25% increase for
God
them.
damn.
Yeah, I want to say that they're in terms of like the exchange with like the yen and the US dollar, I think theirs came out to somewhere around like $350 originally. Now it's kind of more in line with like what the US pays for the PS5. So they got hit pretty hard. I don't think Canada got hit too badly. But yeah, Japan specifically.
Talk about it like it's a hurricane. It got hit. This place got hit real hard.
I mean, hey, for some people it is gonna be hard.
No, you're right, and it's the reception has been very entertaining for sure.
Yeah. So, I think the one thing I'll say, and I'll move, I'll let you guys take it from there, is that like, I'm not gonna claim to be a business expert in terms of what the economic situation means for Sony in comparison to Microsoft and Nintendo. I'm not gonna pretend that I know, their books and all that stuff, and what inflation means to them, and if it really hit them hard or not, or whatever. But what I will say is that I feel like Sony is poking the bear a little bit, and the more that they continue and by bear I mean like the consumer, like I guess the hardcore consumer, because like I don't think in the short term this isn't going to affect them. Like I think PS5 is still going to fly off the shelf, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I feel like these things are kind of adding up where they continue to poke the bear, and at some point there's going to be a breaking point. I don't think this is it. Like I just said, PS5 are going to continue to sell. But I think there will be a breaking point. Whether that's in the near future or whatever. So I'm just saying, y'all gotta be careful, because y'all are definitely poking the bear. People are fucking annoyed with you guys. People are saying that this is the PS3 all over again. I don't agree.
That's me.
I don't agree. I think there's a little revisionist history happening with that. People forget how bad the PS3 was. This is not the PS3, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Let's not forget.
Talk about it.
The PS3 was some dire times. This is not that. We are still getting, like, the output for PS5 in terms of its catalog is far superior to the PS3 and PS4 in its early years. So let's not forget that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. They're poking the bear. Just fucking be careful, man. That's all I have to say.
What do you think, Macho? Because I know you had that opinion of the PS3. Me, I'm still very much just, neutral ground. Like, this is something that is not good, but also something that I really don't know what's gonna go. Could you elaborate more on why you think this is like the PS3 era?
Well, again, I said that obviously because out of like a pure reaction, but like this is back
Right.
to the time. Again, we honestly ever since this generation started, we have nothing but complaints.
Yeah.
But when it comes to PlayStation, regardless of like the actual outpour of the products and the games themselves, and there have been which matters, of course, yeah, of course, and we're not saying it doesn't either, because we've been on that coattail for the past couple of years already. We're like, yeah, like their communication is not the best. We can tell the console's a little bit rushed. The announcements of games themselves and the whole upgrade system has just been a fiasco and dumb and shouldn't be a problem. But the games are great. And now we've been saying that for the past couple of years. And I'm still going to say the games are great. I love them. But at the same time, I'm not going to say, like, it's been, it's okay. Because this is not okay. And at the end of the day, I got my PS5. I'm good. And overall, I hate to say it, but it's not going to affect me. But
yeah,
this is still on that train that me and Walt have been constantly talking about, of like their communication is absolute shit this generation.
Yeah, it's garbage.
And to what you're saying, Soul, that people are already pissed at them. People are already getting upset and mad, and this doesn't help at the fact too that they're just so quiet. They're not at Gamescom. They're not at E3. They're not at doing a patient experience. They're not going to be at Tokyo Game Show. They're just writing on their own thing and they're doing their own thing, which is fine to a degree, but there comes a point in time where you're just like, what the hell is going on with you guys?
Sure, but like to that point, like they supplement that stuff by doing their own thing. They do state of plays, every so often. It's not like Nintendo shows up to, things like Gamescom with like a big presence or whatever. They march to the beat of their own drum too. So like,
but I even argue that Nintendo has enough directs to communicate enough of what they're doing. And
Nintendo has done more. Nintendo has done more presentation showcases this year than Sony.
I will say what differentiates real quick Nintendo from PlayStation is the fact that Nintendo, when they make a decision that even though it's many may argue scummy decision, they will stick to it no matter how people react. At least we've seen that PlayStation, like the whole PS Vita PSP store, they prolonged it. Nintendo's like, nah, Nintendo DS store, no, that's gone next year. We don't care what you say. Like that, it's something that at the very, we're not trying to say Nintendo's better than PlayStation. It's just the fact that communication in that aspect, it lacks from PlayStation, contrary to Nintendo. But
sure, but I'm just zeroing in on the whole presentation thing. Like we just had a big state of play in June. Like was people not are people forgetting how that was filled with bangers start to finish?
No, for sure.
Just forgetting that did not happen. That only happened we're 2 months ago.
Yeah,
right?
like May, like around May.
Yeah. So and the whole thing that Nintendo had more showcases than Sony. That fine, but I don't know.
It's not so much. So it's not in the case of how many presentations. It's the fact that there's enough content within those presentations to explain certain things. In terms of Sony, it's the fact that in the past they've been worse with communicating certain stuff. After a certain taking of power, it's changed a lot. I don't know what's going on with the Jim Ryan era. I don't know why there's so much little communication.
But let's get into that. So they stopped after 2018. They made the decision to stop going to E3, right? They stopped doing PSXs back in 2018 as well, right? So it's not like this was like Jim Ryan. As soon as Jim Ryan took over, he was like, okay, we're no longer going to all these things. Like Sony was starting to do these things even before Jim Ryan came in here.
Right. No, you're right. But it just so happens that unfortunately it fell on his shoulders. So he's going to be receiving like all the criticism from everyone.
He gets
thrown
for anything.
He gets thrown.
If my dog were to die today, it'd be fucking Jim Ryan.
It's like instead of that time where it was like, oh, thanks Obama. Now it's like, oh, thanks Jim Ryan. Like you're trying to put the cookie inside the milk glass and it doesn't fit. Ugh, thanks Jim Ryan. Like everything's his fault. But again, people.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. He obviously is people to put the blame on him because he's the leader right now. He's the leader of this generation.
Let's make the distinction though. He's the leader of PlayStation.
Right. Not Sony.
He still has exactly. He still has people above him.
Right.
The CEO, I forget his name, but the people in Japan who are obviously making these decisions. So I don't think Jim Ryan is the one who's saying, okay, you know what, let's raise the price of PS5. I'm sure it's his bosses at Sony.
Because you know what's interesting? It's funny. PlayStation is the one that suffers from this of blaming the person that is in the spotlight, while you don't hear the same kind of flack towards Doug Bowser with Nintendo. It's interesting. You don't hear as much vitriol towards him when Nintendo makes certain decisions, because they clearly know it's Nintendo in Japan. There's two places, Nintendo and then Nintendo of America, NOA.
and then we have Nintendo of America that's looking a little suspect.
No, but like the thing, like how Macho said, like everything's a complaint with PlayStation, but it's just interest and it's merited. It's not that it's invalid, but it's interesting how there's certain behavior with how people receive certain news. But I do agree that just communication has been god awful. I just don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of like just has been flying through my head. And Jim Ryan, man, his name is like on that byline for that blog, and so that's why he's getting so much vitriol. It's just it's just ever since he became like the head honcho here, it really feel like it's a different kind of PlayStation than from the PS4 generation. It's frankly it's something I really don't like.
Right.
Again, and not from the games perspective. I love the console. I love everything surrounding the PlayStation. I love the experiences I'm getting from it, and ultimately that's like what I'm here for. But at the same time, it's such a stark difference from last year, and then to just throw like a price increase overnight for people just across the region, like it's to me it's kind of like it sucks and it's baffling to see that when last year it felt like last generation it felt like we had a more cohesive relationship with the community and the PlayStation actual brand. So it's just a stark difference that just is so foreign to me.
Yeah. And
it just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when I was just talking about before with Chandler Wood from Hogwarts Legacy being so into with the community and everyone just, even Final Fantasy 14, everyone just being so, being such a community and has such a communal experience, and you don't feel that with PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a divide.
Sucks. Yeah, and that sucks because it really feels like they're just kind of out for blood and it doesn't feel like they're here for just
for the games,
just for the money. Yeah, just here for the money. Like I get it. They're here for the money and all that stuff, but like at the same time, it's like, don't you just want to like actually be in the ambiance of like your gaming community and stuff like that? Like it feels like this guy just really just goes in 9 to 5 and just.
But then again, it's interesting because I guess I'm getting used to the whole like how much. Indies and Microsoft are very much in the loop of like being in the ambience of gaming, because even again bringing back you mentioned King Chris in the beginning of the podcast and how they have established how with Nintendo and I'm specifically going for Nintendo because Sony it is a Japan based company, how Nintendo is very much of the mindset that we don't care if you have fun or not. We don't care about like we just want to make the money. Like they have a brand. It's like Disney. We have a brand. We will stick to it. But at the end of the day, we only want the money. Like it's kind of sad to look at it that way. It's a very cynical way of seeing it, but it is very much the reality of like if it doesn't make like they establish. It's funny. Krista had mentioned how they see the opportunity for an event or an activity that will be a communal experience. But will it make money? No, we don't make it. We don't do it. And it's so, I don't want to think that PlayStation is going to head it. I mean, I don't think so, because to your point, Macho, you mentioned, TV, movie. I think this year is just the the movie TV year for PlayStation, and it's just announcing all of these properties that are being made into either live actions or animated shows. And the games, while they're there, they kind of taken a backseat.
No, I feel like those things aren't mutually exclusive. You can have both things.
No, for sure, but people don't see it that way. I'm establishing it.
Why.
I'm establishing it as a sense of, hey, we have the same company working on the properties that you know and love. They're just not making as many games as you would have, like Microsoft right now, like, Game Pass and all this. But they're also not making a whole lot of games this year. Like we cannot forget this year has just been somewhat dry for like the household names.
Like, to me, I think it's cool that we can get a Horizon, a Gran Turismo, a God of War, Last of Us Part 1, all in the same year. Supple that with games like Rollerdrome and Stray.
Yeah.
Inscription coming later this month, right? And
Hell yeah.
as well as we can get announcements of all of the things that PlayStation Productions are working on at the same time. It's not like they only talk about just that stuff, right? Like, we're getting all these things. At PSVR, we just had that announced this week as well. Our first look at PSVR this week, right?
Yeah.
As well as the DualSense,
the Edge
control, so they can do all these things all at the same time. It's not like they're only doing one thing.
But you know what's funny, Sol? That reminds me of that. What is it? What's the? Tell me you only play AAA games. Well, tell me you only play AAA games. It's the same kind of energy of like, there's other stuff going on. Let's not just focus in on one single thing. But to that point of talking of the price points, I do think it's a bit absurd that only certain, not only just the fact that it's going up, but certain regions are getting tackled with this price increase. And not only at a time where the pandemic struck, there's people there's a ton of people that are financially like quite deprived. Again, this is a hobby. It's video games. We acknowledge this. We're just, pointing out the fact that it's a bit ridiculous at a console that is already really hard to find.
Yeah. I guess one other thing we could point out is that, like, Microsoft is Microsoft, right?
Yep.
They are one of maybe the richest company in the world, or one of at least. Like, it's not like sure. Like, I'm sure they may be being hit with the whole inflation thing, but like, they maybe don't have a need to raise the price like Sony does in comparison. And Nintendo is Nintendo, right? They're still selling a 5-year-old piece of hardware at the same MSRP price that it was at launch, so they're fine. That thing's still flying off shelves. Again, I'm not gonna speculate on why Sony did it, because I don't know, I don't know their financial situation, so like, I don't know if it's right or wrong for them financially to do it, but I will say optically it looks fucking bad when your competition says that they're not going to do it. So yeah, it looks really fucking bad. Especially
when the communication you have is like this. When you communicate only things that will affect a consumer, financially, and you're not just talking with them not constantly, but you're not always like disclosing everything. If there was that relationship from the get-go, I think it wouldn't look as bad. I don't know.
But at the same time, I don't want...
I mean, we don't want the increase.
No. I don't want Jim Ryan sitting in front of a camera being like, okay, guys, well, the PS5 is... We're going to have to raise the price. So, like,
it's going up, y'all.
Yeah, so, like, I will... Obviously, the time at which it came out, at fucking, like, 3 a.m. in the morning...
Yeah.
Is awful.
Terrible.
Them just putting it in the blog post is fucking fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels, again, it feels arrogant to just do that, man. It's like, to spring it up on people at the last minute just feels really wrong too. I feel like if there's like some sort of timeline here where it's like, hey, by this date we're gonna be increasing the price because of X, Y, and Z, then I feel like it'll have been a little less of a blowback than something that was just announced at 2 a.m. At least on the East Coast here or whatever. I'm sure like in UK time, the people that were affected, like, this is like the right time zone. Like, this news just dropped probably.
Right.
But again, it's just like you said, so it just looks horrible. And And I'm just getting flashbacks of the PS3 era of when there was like $600 console, and just the rollout PS3 just being pretty abysmal until like we started actually getting some bangers in there. But,
Yeah.
I would
And,
say it's like the complete opposite. It really feels like it's like at the end of PS3, near the end of the PS3, I would say the middle of Lifeline, where we got Infamous 2 and stuff like that. That's when it really started to kick off, and it feels like it's kind of the opposite here, where like we got the great kickoff for PS5, but the communication aspect is still like lingering around. It's like not really great at all. I don't know. To me, it's just like in this era where like people are so social media heavy, and they want to. They like the community wants to be part of you. Like they want to be part of the brand. They want to feel like they're part of everything. And they're just getting stiff armed. And this is like another point of that contention where like people are already like kind of agitated with like seemingly not getting a lot, and then this all of a sudden just kind of springs up on them. So. It's just a really weird PlayStation era for me personally. It's a love-hate relationship because I love the console, I love the controller, I love the games, but I just really don't like kind of like the leadership the seeming leadership that just seems so non-existent. It feels like we just don't have an identity. It's just weird.
Right. What I will say in light of that is, this is also, I mean, a perspective. Just to apply one as well, another one. You said something really important. You like the games, you like the console, you don't like the leadership. And unfortunately, right now within this podcast, we can acknowledge that we are not affected by this decision. We're pretty much just like kind of frustrated with the way that they're communicating stuff. But this price increase will not affect us three. Not right now. Not in the moment. It is unfortunately, the thing where it's not affecting me. I like the games, I like the console. That's as much as I need. I don't need to like the leadership, because if they're giving me what I like, why am I going to complain? What I do not appreciate is when the sentiment of it can be 600, 700. I don't care. The games are great. It's like, dude, shut up. You would not buy this. If it was a $700 console increase, you would not just go, oh yeah, I'm going to buy it. First of all, scalpers. This is going up in certain countries. The scalping is going to be even higher.
Yeah, they're looking their lips right now.
They're like, oh man, it's going to be a field day for us. That paycheck going to be juicy and girthy. Bro, that ain't a good thing. That ain't a good thing.
Why'd you have to say girthy for?
Because it's a girthy paycheck, Macho. It's a whole stack of paychecks, okay? But like, bro, again, and I want to establish that in this for us three, it's not affecting us. Why? But we want to care for the fact that we want to be empathetic for certain people. But at the end of the day, I mean, reality is it's not our problem.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's just how it is. Plain and simple. It ain't gonna affect us. We don't care, but we want to care because it's gonna affect some people, and not telling you how to spend your money. But it's the fact that if we make a habit of this, of just tolerating these increases, it's fine with the games going up because that's just a matter of production and of time. But are we going to just see consoles just spike like this? Like, is this going to be a norm? Is this, is the next Switch going to be a $500, $600 console and still not have 4K? Like, what does this mean for like the future of like increases in general? But in the moment, it's not affecting us. But that's just how it is.
I don't know. It's just, again, so weird because isn't the PlayStation 5 also making a profit?
I mean, they're forget if it was profit or revenue,
right?
But like it was down this last financial earnings or whatever.
That makes sense because last year was a pandemic, so.
Right.
Well, for the last was it quarter? Is it called or fiscal year?
Fiscal year, yeah.
But Microsoft's was down also, so that was just because like this year there's been, aside from Elden Ring, there's barely been any big AAA games that have released.
Right. And I don't know if this is, I mean, this is just me like pulling at straws, but I don't know if the fact that this is the year where, things like gas went like spiked. Like, I don't know if that just made people like, whoa, wait a minute, I ain't gonna buy a console right now.
Well, to that point, because of inflation, the cost of production has also gone up. So that's another, unfortunately, valid reason as to why they're probably doing this.
Right. And let's be realistic again. Talking about games, people. This ain't something that, people, if it doesn't sell, it's not a priority. This is not something that people will just, oh yeah, no, I have the cash to spare. No, you really need to set down, some money to actually get these consoles, especially with the games as well, because, not complaining about the $70 thing, but I mean, games have increased, so we have to be aware of everything is going up. So we have to, this is the year of like everyone like, okay, I don't have enough now, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the thing is, there's so many options out there anyway, so it's like,
yeah, man, the Steam Deck, like this is the year of the Steam Deck. Like it's people are getting their Steam Decks. They're they're probably going, you know what, why at PlayStation when I can just play literally everything on the go.
Well, to that point, Walt, when I saw that there's a price increase and everything, and coupling all of my past feelings on like what PlayStation's done the past couple of years and kind of like how I view them from the PS5 and on, it just made me think like I don't have to get a PS6.
Yeah.
Like I could think twice about getting a PlayStation 6 if they ever were to do like next,
or a PS5 Pro or whatever.
Yeah, like honestly, I probably don't have to. Obviously I don't need to, but like I just don't have to invest in our next console because I'm getting more into PC gaming and portable gaming and likes. I love my console gaming too, and who knows? We'll see what happens what they do with it. But at this point in time, it's like if they're gonna keep this attitude and sort of like this kind of like put we have our chin up. We're elites. We're the premier home console experience.
I don't think that's them, man.
Man,
I really don't think
it is them. It really is because again, looking into the past couple of years of how they announced stuff and everything, they're just so like they're so arrogant how they do things. I mean, look at the Horizon Forbidden West fiasco and the whole upgrade thing. They think that people forget that there's going to be a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5 and they decide to just sneakily say that you can't have that anymore.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely shitty.
Yeah.
I agree.
So they literally are being Nintendo. They're just being Nintendo. Like it's a company does this and people don't complain. Why is it? I mean, PlayStation is just shifting to that. It's adopting more of its more strict Japanese like business styles of just being like, hey, this is what you got. This is it. It sucks, but like that's just how it is.
Yeah. No, that's why like most of the time I'll just shut up and play the games. You know what I mean? That's because at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not gonna affect Jim Ryan's pockets. He's not gonna come banging on my doors like, you talking shit, Macho. Like he don't care, man. But at the end of the day, it's like again, I can't not look at this and reflect how I feel on it.
Right.
So regardless of the fact, like I'm gonna shut up and play the games, but at the end of the day, I don't like this and. I mean, regardless of the price increase, like you said, well, it doesn't affect us. It is what it is. But
it's like when it's like me. It's funny. This is like when I'm like around like my friends and they're white and I'm Puerto Rican and someone says like something regarding like Mexican culture around me and like it's supposed to offend me and they get offended for me. I'm like, dude, it doesn't offend me. Why are you getting offended for me? Like it's the kind of thing where it's like if it's not affecting you, why are you gonna talk about it? And that's the main thing. I want the people that are affected by this to talk about it if it affects them. If it doesn't, that's just something that we have to accept. If it's not a problem, I mean, this is a problem, right? Right now, the increase is a problem. But if it turns out to not be one, then let's not create a problem of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And that's why, like, I think, Saul, you had a really good point earlier where, like, in the bottom line, I don't think it's really going to affect them. At least like how people look at PlayStation like 4 or 5 months from now, let alone a week from now. But regardless, it's really bad.
This is all going to be water under the bridge as soon as they have a showcase or whenever they drop a God of War Ragnarok trailer.
Yeah.
It's because like again, the reason why is because a lot of people that were complaining about it or are complaining about it are the ones that have a PS5.
Yeah, yeah. That's the crazy part. Like the mostly again, we're very much in the niche, but the people that do speak out about it are the people that already bought a PS5, probably pay $100 or $200 more to get it.
Yeah, I don't need to be on Twitter to know that already.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's the reality, you know.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I think what was it? I saw a podcast the other day where they're talking about the production increase, and yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to like all this stuff, and I think that PS5 had custom parts, didn't it? It was being made.
I don't know.
I think I heard someone mention that, but regardless of the fact that these things are a massive production undertaking, so yeah, I can see like the logical reason behind it, but it just sucks that it's reflected on the consumers and it's affecting them.
And I'll gladly say, if you cannot afford the PS5, I will gladly recommend a Series S or an X. I don't know, like. I'll gladly recommend you another console if you cannot afford PS5. Although this is a PlayStation podcast, I'm not here to tell you that, just buy the PS5 because it's the best console ever. No, I don't think it's the best console ever. I think it's one of, the top ones, but I don't think you should. Yeah, it just started. It barely, realistically, comparing, to past generations, it barely has like true exclusives to rave about. I just like the things that it has and what it does, and because I was blessed enough to be able to afford it. But the reality is, if right now, what's the next thing? The next affordable thing? A Series S, fantastic console. It has just enough storage. It can be your Game Pass machine. Hey, go wild.
Man, I'll just say get a Switch too.
Or get a Switch, bro. Get an OLED. That's the way to go, bro. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Otherwise, it's just obviously it's not a good look.
Yeah.
We'll see if those PS5 still fly off the shelves. I think I saw something before too, where actually you said it. So how the Japanese players were had a really stark reaction to this.
Yeah, because they got hit absolutely the hardest.
Yeah, and I think I saw where people were. I think what was it? Final Fantasy 16 was trending. I saw in Japan, and it's because we were wondering how they're going to afford the console, and that Final Fantasy 16 is dead on arrival, because some people don't have the PS5. But I mean, I guess
which is not true, because Japan's not the only market that's interested in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
That game's gonna be well. So.
Yeah, but it seems like the PlayStation 5 is just not. Is it true that it's not as much of a hit in Japan than other regions?
I mean, it's been doing obviously it does really good when they have stock. That's the only issue. It's funny. It's funny that the 2 weeks the Xbox outsold the PS5. People were really touting that when it was only 3,000 units or something like that, and PS5 was selling 2,000. But then there was last week or the week before that I sent you guys that PS5 sold 44,000 units over there in 1 week or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
So obviously it's all just like the Xbox. It's all dependent on stock, whether or not they have stock. That's the one that's going to sell the most that particular week or whatever.
I mean, Sony, whenever it comes to Sony and PlayStation in Japan, I know that at least for the PlayStation 4 era, the PlayStation 4 was not the top console. It was the PS Vita. People had more PS Vitas than they had PlayStation 4s in Japan. Which is interesting. Or PS3 era. It was interesting to see just how much different gaming is perceived there. Because I think portable gaming is appreciated a bit more over there, considering that, commuting from place to place is a lot more efficient. There's trains and there's, walking distances and all this stuff. I can see how it would, be a more attractive offer.
Not even that too. Just the fact that they have gaming cafes and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, and you can very easily go to a park and be completely safe and game. If you go out here, if you live in LA or something, if you go out, you need to wear your bulletproof vest and all this. This.
I was checking Famitsu put up like their weekly report, I believe for last week or maybe the week before, and for that particular week, 9 out of the 10 top selling games in Japan were Nintendo Switch games.
There you go. Yeah.
The only other the game that wasn't a Switch game was Gran Turismo 7, and that was like at number 9, I think. So yeah, that goes to show you exactly like, you know.
And also have in mind, very important, in Japan, secondhand gaming or secondhand products are usually considered prime condition. You can buy a game in pristine conditions that was used, and it's going to look new. So that very much incentivizes you owning old consoles or buying old consoles or having something portable and something that's more, retro or whatever, which is why Nintendo is really huge there, because buying NES, SNES, Switch games, it's so at times affordable and convenient. So like, I, quite frankly, I do sometimes, like, I listen to the Trash Taste podcast, and they all live in Japan. They talk about life in Japan and affording stuff in Japan, and they're from different parts of the world, Australia, Wales, and Thailand. And they talk about just how, honestly, it sounds like having a home console just doesn't sound as appealing as having a portable console. And that's just at least how they talk about it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that is is that gonna wrap it up? Are we done with this one?
With that one, I mean, and I'm trying to keep a $150 with when I say, how we can acknowledge we acknowledge that we're not trying to fight for something that it's not, because it's not affecting us. And I don't want to come off as a hypocrite if I say, no, I'm mad for this, I'm disappointed, but I'm not going to say like I'm mad because it affects me. So y'all will call me out if I'm like spouting some BS. So
yeah, and my point of contention is not really like the price increase. I saw it and I was like, damn, that's going to be a day on Twitter.
It's communication.
Yeah, it's just their whole like ambiance they've had this entire generation that I haven't been a fan of. So
right.
But I mean, Saul brought up some great points and good counter arguments. So I'm not gonna fight him on it because he's right. And I'd be a madman to be like, no, you're wrong. Like, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I still think there's a conversation to be had there in terms of their output. But yeah. But that's a bigger conversation we can have for another time. But yeah, overall,
I think that's just the communications conversation. It doesn't just fall with Sony. I think that if there's going to be like a standard to it, everyone should be involved. And I think right now, quite frankly, the one excelling at that communication, indie games, of course, because they can communicate it with their audience and their niche audience. But also Microsoft is pretty good at communicating whatever they're doing. I mean, almost always.
Yeah, and I would say Valve with the Steam Deck too has been.
Oh yeah, dude, Valve is like on every few days I see an update of the Steam Deck, and like Valve just tweeting about it. Like they're pretty consistent about it.
Yeah, they're immaculate with that. On top of like a couple of other really great marketing leads on their games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Bungie I think is like one of the companies that really, it's constantly saying stuff.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that wraps up for that topic. Yeah.
And that's gonna wrap it up for the podcast as well, man.
Yes, sir.
Want to thank everyone for watching. Once again, go ahead and what do the YouTubers say? Smash that like button, right?
Smash it with your face.
Yeah,
and subscribe.
And we're gonna get started with these outros. Walt, why don't you kick things off?
Well, gonna be gaming, boys. After this podcast is over, probably gonna head to my locally sourced market of games, or at GameStop, and
that sounds mad shady.
and caught myself Soul Hackers, which pretty excited to look for to play. Aside from that, man, gonna be I have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks to get through Horizon, because I want to be able to talk about it in 2 weeks. Because next week, I assume we're not doing the podcast because we have a very special event for Macho here.
Yes,
and not only that, I will be at said event, celebrating love and buffoonery and Kingdom Hearts nerdery.
You'll see a lot of it at the wedding.
Oh boy, you better have some food, man. Better have some good food there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna try and beat Horizon in the following 2 weeks. Play some Soul Hackers in between, and what else will I be playing? Try to beat Live Alive this weekend, and watch the 2 movies of the apes that I haven't seen. Gotta rent them on Amazon. But yeah, man, that'll be my 2 weeks. Stay tuned at Walt Lando on Twitter for anything that I might do on level 1 or Lords of Gaming.
Nice. How's have you written anything else on Lords of Gaming?
Lords, the last thing I did was I kept one of the showcases. I forgot which one it was. It was one of the JRPGs. I don't know if it was a Xenoblade thing or it was a Live Alive thing. I forget. The last thing I did was I covered Atlas Fallen, and I did also Lies of P at level 1. I go back and forth. I try to do it evenly for both of them. Yeah.
Gotcha. Macho, what about you, man?
Yes, sir. By this time next week, I won't be a fiance anymore. I won't be a boyfriend. I will be a husbando.
Oh, Dios mío.
I'll be an official husbando, or my fiance says a hot bun.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's exciting times, man. I had anxiety and stress the past week on top of a couple other personal stuff, but regardless, I think it's all following to something that's gonna be a reality now, and something that's gonna be really fun, exciting, and I'm just super hyped, dude. Like I just finished getting a bunch of packages for my groomsmen today, and a couple of presents for them and my father and stuff like that. So we were counting down. Everything's getting paid off, boys. That's why I can't buy roller trophy, because I had to pay off the limo. And a couple other things, dude. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's kind of crazy. It's a big lifestyle. I know that at the end of the day, you're just back home the next day, and like you're gonna carry on life as usual. But it's sort of just the thematic elements of being married and saying I do to your love of your life is.
You sounded like such a video gamer. The thematic elements. It sounded like you're describing a game.
It's me trying to break everything down, really, just kind of make everything a reality it is, and it's kind of crazy, but it's gonna be fun. But with all that said, catch the podcast obviously for the not next week but the week afterwards, as well as Multiverses Mondays and Final Fantasy Fridays. Obviously, we won't having a Final Fantasy Friday next week, but more than likely a Multiverses Monday. This coming up Monday, stream for about an hour and a half. Come in, chime, and have some fun. It'll be great times, and watch me rage at losing. So it's a lot of fun. But other than that, that's all I got going on. That and just kind of chipping away at Xenoblade 3 and 14. So. Oh, and watching the Aliens films. I gotta watch those. I want to see if I can watch them before I leave or something. But
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
As for me, I downloaded Watch Dogs 2 and the first Tomb Raider, so I want to chip away at those. But then Inscription and Destroy All Humans 2 is coming out, I think, on the same day. So I'm actually more interested in both of those games. So once they come out, I'm actually gonna go to those first and then come back to Watch Dogs 2. And so that's what my next week probably looks like. And then we have Last of Us Part 1 around the corner. So busy times, man.
It's be the first time you're playing Last of Us too, so I'm interested to see what you're gonna think about the mechanics and systems and all that stuff, the pacing.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous, man, because I love Part 2's combat so much, so I'm a little nervous.
I hear you.
But yeah, man, that's it for the DSS crew. We will catch you guys if not next week, maybe the week after? Question mark?
The week after, yeah. I'll be. I definitely can't do next week.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, if you guys are looking to know, we'll update you guys on Twitter for sure. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah. Until then, peace out.